Yo, you know that I got the flow. Yeah, you know that I got it in the pocket. I ain't gonna stop, and I know. Yeah, gotta get what I'm owed. Yeah, shining, I got it like gold. Yeah, they wanna know what I know. Yeah, I would.
Okay. MLNY.
I'll give you one sec. Sorry, I just forgot something.
No worry. I just went live on Twitch so they can see us now. It's all good. Do your thing. You weren't even late, bro. It was a surprise stream. It wasn't scheduled at all. Do your thing. I'll entertain. I'll stall. Mad love execute too, eh? I got my own emotes coming out soon. I got someone designing them. It's gonna have a nice little like Husky type look, you know. It's gonna be my emotes though. It's gonna be like 100% like my style shit. You know what I mean? So respects for that sub, bro. Respects for that subs.
Yeah, but I didn't realize you were gonna be live tonight. So
No. It was literally a last minute thing. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see if it works, and I'm gonna do a surprise stream just to run it back because we're not in a rush. But so It's your platform right now. It's your platform. You take control. This is your interview. All right, you do your thing.
All right. Well, with that being said,
Here it goes.
what's up, Aerostyle Twitch people? You know,
Hey man.
I'm doing my little pre-interview comfort right here. You know, I got like a little seance I do. You know, I gotta light a bogey for the beginning. You know, maybe take a little puff of the pipe. Got that in.
Ritual. We got Josh watching in too. Josh watching in too again. Bless. He loved the content we had before. Even though we were in a rush, he was saying we were able to keep it still entertaining.
Oh, no. Alright. Well, I won't be waiting. We'll get into this. I'm just gonna have to alright.
Get your ritual started. Relax. It's good.
Yeah, no, bro. I totally thought that we were just fucking going on our time. So I'm like, yeah, alright. I took a phone call first. Like,
It is.
Oh shit.
It's our time, bro. It's our time. This is our time. Don't worry. We're on our time. That's how we do.
Alright. So, well, I mean, last time I got the intro shit down, right? So I don't really have to go through all that again.
I want to hear it again, bro. Come on. Give it for anybody else who watches. Let's give it the full interview this time. Go. Let's freak it down. Lyrical miracle.
Alright. Drum roll, please. Alright, Breaking Records Radio in the place to be. You know what it is, your host MLNY, and I got a very special guest with me, the AEROSTYLE to the Z, Aerostyle in the place to be. What's good, my man?
What up? What's good, man? I don't think I'll ever get enough of hearing that. That's dope as hell. I gotta come up with an intro like that. That's sick.
I tell you, bro, it just comes naturally with time. I promise. But man, so so we're gonna use that a little bit from the last one still.
Yeah, we'll do everything, bro. Right from the top, we'll give them the full thing, so we don't, you know what I mean?
We're gonna go like right back over everything. Okay?
Right back over everything. Let's give them all.
All right, cool. All right, man. What's up? I got my man Aerostyle here with me. This guy's a jack of all trades, man, many hats. You know what I'm saying? And they say jack of all trades, master of none, but that's not the case in this scenario. We got the homie here, and this guy's very good at everything he puts his hands into. So,
Appreciate that.
All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't do well with overdoing interviews. So bear with me here. Do you know how many times interviews get ruined because I talk to the person for like 30 minutes before, and then I'm like, and then get into the interview, and I'm like, fuck, I'm just not. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I mean, first and foremost, usually I want to go back and do a little bit of the history, but I do like to touch on I like to touch on what's kind of current going on first a little bit, and then backtrack a little bit to your story. You know what I mean? So, first and foremost, I mean, tell me a little bit. First, I want to know Vibe, right? So,
Vibe, yes. Who hurt me? That's it. Vibe. Who hurt me? So Vibe, and actually I'll touch on it too, because I was rushing before too, so I didn't really get a chance to touch on it. Like, Vibe was a track that was in the making for like just for so long. My boy said crack a cold one, bro. My boy said crack a cold. Josh said crack a cold one, man. Relax. But Vibe was, I rewrote Vibe, the verses, the chorus of it like 3 times, the verses like 7 different times, it was just, there were so many times in my life where like I'd put it to one thing and then it just ended up like I go back to rewriting or just go back to writing and listening and go back to like just rehearsing it, and I'd want to change it all. So
Yeah.
it ended up just being this piece of, that's why there was like, we were talking about it before with the face value and stuff, was like, it ended up being this piece that was just so, there were so many different faces to it in the beginning where it all molded to this just one big artwork, in my opinion, to like really present to people. And what I found really was that a lot of the pieces artists are the most skeptical about releasing. Like they think it's just too raw. For me, it was like Let It Ride or Vibe or Monsters is my one track as well. You know, they're very personal pieces, and I was skeptical about releasing it, but those have gotten the best reception from everybody. Like, you know, that personal kind of, that like real raw shit that, you know what I mean, like you might be in a sense fearful to release because of like what people might say, and like as an artist you're always fearful of like how people might take it at one point, and then you have to get over it. But it was mind-boggling through the whole process of it. In that time and era too, like I was writing a bunch of music, and then Vibe just really stuck out to me, so I held on to it until I like was really working with a producer in a studio that I was happy to work with, and I knew I could really present this piece. And it just, I'm extremely happy with it. The song was made probably about a year or two before I did the video even, and so like when I had the video, I got a videographer that I really like to work with, and we clicked well with working together. Like, you know how you find people like in the creative process where you guys just kind of feed off each other's energy, and it's not like a stop and go sort of deal.
And not to cut you off either, but
No, go ahead.
Not only with you 100%, but a lot of artists feel that way too. Like even when I interviewed Slane, he spoke very much about how it took him years to find a videographer that really understood capturing his vision, and ever since then, it's the only videographer he'll work with.
Really? Like I'm kind of like I'm kind of similar. Like if I find someone I like to work with, I really like to stick to that too.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Specs One does, like any of the music videos I care highly about, Specs One does, and then any of the other ones I do myself. You know what I mean? I'm not a videographer, bro. Like, I can, if I put it together, I know that I'm not going to be messaging myself tomorrow, like, yo, I look lame here or something. You know what I mean? Like, you can always trust yourself in the process.
Yeah, and then there's like that whole like saying of, you know what I mean? If you want something done, do it right. But then you look at like how much do you really value your time, and if your time's valued at this much, really like is it really, you know, you can find someone for half the price to really go do it, get it done before you, and you don't have to worry about it sort of deal. Like, oh, that kind of jibber jabber, and like somebody as well creative process. Like I'm a firm believer in like I'd rather do it myself so I know it gets done right. But then do I really want to go learn this whole new process of videography sort of deal?
Exactly, yeah. Well, see, luckily for me, I've always, you know, it's part of what I already do. So
yeah,
like I have to Adobe to do, you know, to run the YouTube and all that shit. So it's like, it just kind of falls in pocket. And it actually more became a thing where my time wasn't less valuable than the money it costs, but the money it costs to get a video done cinematically, like the way, you know what I mean? Like the way I know someone else catered my vision. I know that I can do something that I'm happy with, where I don't think it needs maybe so many bells and whistles, and I can do it on my own time by myself for free. You know what I mean? So it's like
I apologize. I'm not cutting you off. I'm just posting about this right now. I'm listening. I'm just so you know, I'm not looking down and ignoring you. I just continue though. I apologize. Just so you know.
Bro, I do the same thing, bro. I'll be sitting there smoking a cigarette, looking off this way while people are talking sometimes. You know what I mean? But that's because I'm listening. You know.
I just want to make sure you know I'm still listening. I'm not like just being a total dick.
Good. It's good, but one thing on Go 5 that I really did like in that sense too is I did like the way that you guys conveyed the video. Like, I thought it was really sharp how you guys had the text come up and stuff, and even just the way it was done, it looked very, like it didn't look thrown in there, it didn't look cheesy. Like the way it was done, it was very, very authentic, you know what I mean? Which for things like that, I can find, like, it's really easy to make that kind of shit look cheesy because you're literally throwing, like, little digital images, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do it sometimes purposely to be cheap. You know what I mean? But like to do it and not and it look right, that there's an art in that I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand.
And
so
what
I really like what you guys did in the video as well.
A lot of people don't know about that video is that, like, I basically directed that whole video. Like, I just mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking, like, the videographer, he did his job, he brought his equipment, it was all him, but, like, I mean, screenplaying this, and, like, I was very keen and precise with saying, I want this shot right here. I want you to follow over my shoulder this way and then cut to this way, sort of deal. And, like, he definitely as well did too. But, like, from an artist standpoint, he even commented on saying, like, most artists will a lot of artists he work with will say, here's a song, just create whatever you can create, and then we'll do it. And, like, well, more so I had a full out, like, scene for scene plan to it to really direct it, and, like, it was a vision that really came together, and I was just very, very happy with it. And I was very happy working with the videographer. Shout out Blank Seas Films. Any artists in the Niagara region, check him out. He's always looking for new workers, or not new work, new clientele. Great guy.
Yeah, the video came out really dope, man. So I would suggest anybody, if they haven't seen the video, go check out the video.
Thank you.
Follow any of our platforms. You've seen it probably 20 times by this point. But, really well done, and definitely, like, what's homie's name again?
Blank Seas Films. So it's like blank sea as the ocean. So SEAS. He's Blank Seas on Facebook and Blank Seas on Insta. If you go check out the video, his credentials is there too, so you'll get a link right to him as well. If you want to just go find him, go do that. But hey, check out the video too.
Yeah, no doubt. No, yeah, I would suggest people, check them out. The video, I thought it came out really clean, man. And with that being said, too, like, see, and this is why I stuck doing over interview questions. And I can't remember what we touched on in which one now. But so, regardless, between the two, I think we pretty well covered that joint. So I don't want to keep recycling over things. But the one thing I do want to talk about, and I know it came up a little more organically last time, but Move. I really fucking like the song Move, man. That shit is dope as hell. So,
yeah.
Like, I just, for one who did the beat, that beat's wild.
That was actually a beat. So the thing with Move and Vibe is, I have it on Spotify, but I have no licensing to it technically because all the rights and, like, monetization. Like, I do have rights to use it on my own accord, but all the monetization goes to the producer. So Vibe and the beat for Move was, I believe, YK Music. It's credited in the video too as well, I believe. YZ Music, and a great producer. Just a beat I found online that is like, my boy's like, get a club track. So I went club beats, found it, did it, which actually is really great too because it pertains to the new track coming out. Is after I put out those two songs, I really realized, like, as an artist, I have to, Nipsey says it best, you got to own your own shit. You really have to own your own music. And so I started focusing on not only purchasing licensing for my own music, but to distribute and everything, and as well performance wise and all that. So the new track I have coming out, I know you really like Move, but I gotta plug this in, is the new track I have coming out, I'll Be Okay. It's fully licensed, and that track fully monetized to me, and I'll be able to sell, distribute in all platforms as well, and set at any price I want from the whole accord. But with Move, it's just, I've done a lot of different music here and different sides of it. If you go to my SoundCloud on my YouTube, you can hear me throughout the years progress as an artist of who I was working with as well. But you can really see, like, I've touched on so many genres, but I never touched on the club genre. And so that's what I really did, is I just really wanted to, in a sense, flex, to be like, this is really, like, I wrote Move in 2 hours, bro. Like, it's not a huge lyrical piece, but it's a piece that makes you want to move, dance, get grab a bitch's ass, you know what I mean? Like, hop on the floor, go grab a bitch, take her home. I don't know. Like, I've had people be like, I want to go get drunk to this song, and I've had people be like, I want to sit down and just think about life for this. I don't know how that is a thing, but people take it on their own. People want to sip Henny and think about their life, listening to that track. That's how. As long as you enjoy it, that's all I care.
It's funny too the way different people will react to music.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, like always what we were talking about before is like the face value. Is like a lot of people take something like the song wasn't me. It's like, you know what I mean. There are people who even to this day have come up to me. Did you know that track was? I just found out like this year that it was about cheating. And it's like, what the hell do you think that shit was about? Like that stuff doesn't, like how people take that kind of stuff, like is phenomenal to me. Phenomenal, because you got like your artist standpoint, then you have like a writer standpoint, but then you also have a fan standpoint, and then you have a fan who listens. Like there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
So many.
Sorry, I'm just getting this.
No, do your thing. So is this like, is your car like your interview spot? Like, you know that guy who like does what's that one where he like smokes blunts in like this Charger and interviews everyone, like a smoke out interview or something? Is that like your spot, or is that like the family
you know
car?
what? Like, I mean, typically, before COVID, the radio station was my spot. But then once I learned with the internet, I started doing a lot of Instagram live interviews and stuff. It's either whip or just outside. I like doing them just outside here. The problem is, if my phone's not fully charged, good luck last doing an interview. You know what I mean? I gotta replace my phone at that point. But it's I don't know if you opted an iPhone, but after you have it for like a year or like 2 years, they like the battery starts to just fucking like disappear on them in no time. You know what I mean? So
I got an iPhone, but it's only for filming. Literally, it's only for filming.
Yeah.
It's
but and typically, ideally, like I have my computer set up, I have like a good like webcam on there and stuff that I ideally is my setup for interviews. The only problem is with a 1-year-old running around. It's pretty difficult to get a clean interview without interruption. And if she's asleep, then her bedroom's right around where my little office is. So I mean, like I can't really. I talk really loud, bro. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sleep. Like I can't conduct a good interview in my regular and be comfortable. Like, yo, there's one thing about me. Like, I'm like, I'm a loud, vibrant, alive person. I can be obnoxious, but I don't really get anxiety too much. I used to get it a lot more, like social settings and stuff. But at this point in my life, the only time I get anxiety is when people are telling me to be quiet, because I can't naturally be myself anymore.
Yeah.
I have to sit like. It's like I have to think about everything I'm saying, but not think about it in the sense of thinking about it on the volume I'm talking at, and then like I can't have a natural conversation with someone when I'm trying to watch my voice back.
I don't know if everyone could follow that, but I followed it. Josh said Kelly needs to Twitch so he can see chat. I know. I'm gonna get him on Twitch. Don't worry, I'm gonna get him on Twitch very soon. Okay, I'm gonna get him on Twitch. He'll be plugging in interviews, and you can see all the Raekwon. That's all I got. That's really. I was gonna go on a list. That's all I got right off the top of my head. Okay, I'm sorry.
I got MC Shan jumping in with me next Wednesday. So
Dax was one you just did. There we go. See. Yeah, like too much on my head. I'm sorry. As you were saying though, before I interrupt you with the.
But yeah, I was just saying, so I'm not the interview people in my car guy. That's not really my speed, but it's kind of you work with what you got, right? This is the best surrounding I got at the moment where I can keep my phone charged to conduct an interview and not wake up a 1-year-old kid. So it is what it is for now, But so I did want to move on to a little bit, like, because I believe between this and what we captured last time. Did you say what we captured last time?
I did, but I don't know what was going on. It kind of cut off as we just segmented from talking from Move into having a nightclub. Like I literally just started talking about it, and then it cuts off.
That's what I thought. So, okay, so that works. So everything else will be fresh from here, but I can splice it between the two pieces to get the coverage of both those songs. So I can use a little bit from both, and that'll actually, I think, kind of come out dope anyway. So I just wanted to double check on that before we move forward. But what I would have done last time, but we just got too involved in conversation, so I'm going to do it this time. At this point, I would like to go back, though, and talk a little bit about kind of what made you and kind of your upbringing and your come up. So I know, I know you weren't born in Brantford, but you spent a lot of your early years growing up in Brantford. But where exactly were you born first off?
So yeah, I guess it was my early years, but yeah. So first off, my mom might get mad at me because I might get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was McMaster in Hamilton. It's either St. Joe's or McMaster. Yeah. Still a city boy.
And so when did you end up moving to Brantford?
Oh man, this is where it gets interesting. So when you say like my younger years were in Brantford, it's kind of different. Like, so I actually lived in Niagara in kindergarten, around kindergarten, St. Catharines, Crystal Beach, Niagara Falls, Welland, all there. And then we ended up moving to Burlington to stay with my grandma. My grandma at the time, she's a Christian lady, which is really crazy because right now everything's coming up in the history, and like me being native, being raised in a Christian home, like it's a little bit of a smack in the face. But you don't know what's going on when you don't know your parents or you don't know your dad's side of it. But so we're at my grandma's house and she's taking in these foster kids, like these kids who are on like the streets of Hamilton and Toronto. Like, it was a weird atmosphere for me as a young kid. But at this time I'm like maybe 4 or 5. And then to Hamilton, and then Mississauga, back to Burlington, again to Hamilton. Like, we were moving quite a bit till about the end of grade 5. About the end of grade 5. If anyone's from Hamilton, I remember there's a school called Queen Victoria. I went there twice, man. There was this one teacher, Mr. Sakovich. Like, his name sounded like son of a bitch. Like, but he taught me how to play ukulele. That was cool. So after that, it was Hamilton. My mom, she was a bartender and a bouncer at this place called Joe Bud's and a couple other places. I used to live right beside Club 7 or 77 in Hamilton. Yeah, I literally used to live across the street, above this like coffee shop. And I think it was this one night my mom came home at like 5 a.m. and I'm out and about hanging out with like these 13, 14-year-old kids, just causing a muck. And my mom, I think she just lost it, and she's like, you know what, I can't live in Hamilton and like work as a single mother and like not be able to watch my kids if my kid, like my 7 or 8-year-old kid, is going to be out and about in Hamilton at 3 or 4 a.m. So we ended up moving to Simcoe.
Holy shit, eh?
And actually, this is why your name actually always stuck out to me. We moved in with a family whose last name was MLNY.
Really?
Yeah. And my mom had a boyfriend at the time, Rob Maloney. I don't know if like if there's any relation, or if you know him. It's
no, but I've been asked if I'm related to him before.
Yeah, he's a character. Personally, he's a character. As a kid, I can say he's a character. I don't know him now, so whatever. But then we ended up going from Simcoe to Brantford. First school I went to was Brandlin, and like that's like grade. No, first school we went to was Grandview. That was like grade 6. So like like right after Hamilton was like grade 6. When we were in Simcoe, I didn't even go to school. Like I was out of school for like a couple. I think it was like 4 to 6 months out of a semester. And came to Brantford in late. I thought it was really funny because I did sex ed in grade 5, and then like I missed a couple months of school, and then I come to Brantford and I'm in grade 6, and they're just starting sex ed. So I was like, what? Like, okay, I know this shit. Like, whatever.
Do you know what's funny? I was familiar with that as well too from kids I knew that were out of town. When I was at age in Brantford, like kids who were my age who lived in different cities were learning sex ed first. And I didn't learn it until grade 6, and I always thought it was odd. And as I got older, I came to the realization that we capped the country for highest in teen pregnancy rates for how many years consecutively. So maybe they thought maybe we should teach them about sex quite young. Like maybe we should let them be children for an extra year.
That's what I was saying too as well. But then I also look at just the pregnancy rates below teens as well in Hamilton. And that's what I noticed is there was still a very high percentage. I can tell you in grade 5 there was a girl who was pregnant. At my school, in Queen Victoria, there was legit, like, it wasn't one of them girls who wanted attention or nothing, like, it was a girl who was legit pregnant, and, like, so, like, as a kid, I thought it was, like, a joke, but then I saw the girl, and she actually kept the kid, and, like, bro, it just, I came to Brantford, and, like, everyone thought I was, like, BSing, like, about all this stuff, like, man, you know, Hamilton's a messed up city, like, I'm not even gonna like. She's grade 5. I guarantee she did not have titties. Sorry, she must have what?
I remember when I was in grade 4, one girl in the class had titties, and everybody wanted her. None of us knew had tits, but she had boobs, and we're like, boobs?
The Hammer, yeah, execute, yeah. That's where I'm actually from. Is the Hammer, bro? Forget, yeah, from the Hammer. Sorry, the chat. But and then I got to Brantford. I went from a couple different spots around Brantford. Ended up at Nova Vita, if you know it, for just some other BS. And then after Nova Vita, moved to the complex. And that's really like that's what I was saying is when you said younger years, I think it's not really my younger years because at that time I'm just going into grade 9, and I guess that is sort of younger years, but it's like the summer of grade 8. But my mom for the longest time always wanted to avoid complexes and geared to income housing, but like that place was really like the first place I could set roots as a kid. You know what I mean? I was able to develop like social experiences, like because I was always moving around so much. You know what I mean? I didn't actually have a friend that I've known for more than a year, so like in a way it gave me a benefit because I always focused on what my dream was in any shape or form, what I wanted to do. But like I also was like I lacked that part of my childhood till about grade 9. You know what I mean? And then like so it was a blessing because after grade 12 I was like, you know what, like I have roots here, and I moved out like at 18, and because my mom wanted to move to Niagara, and I didn't. I was like, no, I'm not moving to Niagara. My brother moved to Toronto, and he's still there, and so she had a house by herself, and so she was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I was like, all right, I'm moving out. Bye. But really, that complex is really where everything started. Like I was just a kid writing in a notepad, and I remember I think Prof had just finished his tour with Lloyd Banks, like when he was doing in the States with Lloyd Banks or something. He was opening for him, and he just finished up, and like everyone in the complex like saw him, started shooting the shit, and I didn't know everyone yet. I was just this kid who was playing basketball that didn't smoke weed, and you know the complex, like if you didn't smoke weed, like no one fucked with you.
So you were in that complex,
yeah,
going over by North Park.
yeah, that's how I got it. That's how NLG, yeah. That's how I kind of got in.
That complex, I've gotten beat up in that complex, I've gotten robbed in that complex, I've bought weed in that complex, I've sold weed in that complex. I played a lot of shit to put out in that complex.
Bro.
I got my ass whooped in ball there.
Yeah, bro. Don't, if you play me in ball, trust me, that was that little white boy they were scared of. I'm telling you, No, that complex though, that complex taught me a lot about life. Like I came from Hamilton and I thought I saw some shit, but like you said, you know, like I see that complex was nuts. That complex raised me, man. Like straight up, it raised me. And if I didn't have that complex, I wouldn't be. I would, yeah, you know what I mean, man. If we want to get into stories about this, like, freaking. I remember one time the school cop Baxter pulls up on lunch. It was like the first day of grade 10, and I don't want to dox him. A boy Jesse, we know him. You know him too. If you see him, you'd be like, Jesse, hey boy, what's up? Well, he had this 10-gram blunt, not even a blunt. He took like zigzags and made this 10-gram blunt.
Oh yeah.
Walking around school, let's go to the complex, beat the alley, go smoke it up. We have like 50 people there. All of a sudden, you see this red truck pull up, and you hear our boy be like, "Is that Bragg's truck? Is that Bragg's truck?" Yeah, not Baxter. Yeah, my boy executed. I said Baxter at first. He was the new cop. My boy corrected me, Officer Bragg. He's like, "Is that Bragg's truck?" Yeah. And like, is that Bragg's truck? All you hear is Bradford police. Everyone out to the back of this, out to the center of the complex, like rats out a hole, bro. Just gone. Oh man, that complex was something else.
You know what I'm gonna say about Bragg? It was cool to hate on Bragg back in the day because he was the cop, you know.
But he was a chill dude though.
Yeah, I was saying he did fuck some people over, man. But you know, Bragg gave me a lot of chances, man. Like I could have been arrested numerous times, and like because my mom worked at school cop and shit, he gave me a lot of passes, bro. Bragg really worked with me, like
that ass.
He knew I was a kid with potential, and he didn't want to see me go like down the jail path, but he's like, I just kept pushing towards it. He's like at one point he's like, dude, like
I feel that. I feel
I'm
it.
trying here, but like if you don't try for yourself, I can't help you much longer.
That ass, I feel like I swear to God, like that exact story, bro. I dipped out to the other cross of the street. I'm hiding in between this nice house. You know how the complex was, how across the street was all nice houses. I'm hiding in this and I see like undercovers like with the headphone out their shirt, like walking like across the street looking, and I'm like, no one see me. I have this one hoodie, and I go change, get back to the school. I swear, I saw it in Bragg's eye when I saw him walking down the hall. He looked at me, and I swear he knew. He's like, I saw it. He's like, I know you were there. I saw you, and I'm like, I just that wasn't the first time something like that happened too. And like I can tell you, like, yeah, I've had an experience or two where Bragg was like, bro, like you need to. Like I'm
trying to help you, bro, but you know,
I can't do too much. I can't always do it. Like. Oh man, my bad. Yeah, like we're starting to get sidetracked though. But yeah, that complex, bro. That complex really raised me, and that's really that's really where everything started when I was working with Prophet. Like, I was writing music and stuff, like, I was trying to write raps, but, like, that was really where I had my first mentor to really be, like, look at someone going towards what I wanted to do and sort of learn from that.
And you know what I gotta say too, because you brought it up, and I mean, since we're here, we're just, we're interviewing, we're also talking.
Yeah, that's what I love about when we get to shoot the shit, bro. It's like it's like an organic conversation.
Exactly, man. And I gotta say one thing. So, Prophet's my dude. I always have love for Prophet. But, yo, I was a little cheesed out in the back in those days at the Lloyd Banks shit. You wanna know why?
Why? What's up? I will say, back in the day, he was on some shit. He was on some shit, and I understand. You know what I'm saying? He was on some, like, weird shit.
No, not even weird. It's just petty for selfish reasons, really. Well,
yeah.
Anyways, it's understandable. But at the time, at that age, you're not really thinking about shit like this. But anyways, it pissed me off for the back-end reasons, which I'll explain these. So, when he did the Lloyd Banks show, he promoted the show that I was going to be on. Like, my name was on the bill, alright? So I hear about the Lloyd Banks show happening for like a month. And I've never, nobody's ever reached out to me, asked if I want to open for Lloyd Banks, no nothing. And I'm jealous. I'm like, damn, man, I would love to open for Lloyd Banks. But I don't know who to get at, right? The show happens, you hear about it, and then about a week later, someone says, oh, yo, you opened for Lloyd Banks. I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, what? And they pull out a flyer. I still have it at my parents' house to this day for the Lloyd Banks show. And it says, opening artists, Prophet and MLNY. And I'm like, wait a minute. So somebody put my name on this fucking bill and never asked me to open for Lloyd Banks? You gotta be fucking kidding. I was a little salty.
You know that he's the one that printed that.
Well, because he was the one who ran the shows, was he not?
I don't know about that. I don't know. That I don't know about back then. I can't guarantee it.
Young at the time, so maybe he did.
But still,
I kind of always assumed he had
as well too. Like on a respect level, like I don't know if you guys knew of each other like personally, not that, but like to like reach out and like you know what I mean. I don't know. Like anyone I know that
we didn't know each other like that.
Like anyone I know that I've seen on a show, like it's true.
I knew of Prophet because he was one of the only other names in the city doing anything with hip hop that had any attention. You know what I mean? So there was me. There was Tyler Durand. There was Get Steady Crew. And
I remember them.
I put them under the fucking grave, so they were no longer existed. And then, no disrespect, you know. It
is what it is. Game is game. Game is game, bro.
Personal, we were 14 years old, 15 years old, you know, not personal. I've never even met the guys, you know what I mean? But it just, you know, they were real quiet after I dissed them. I'll just say that, and and it kind of dissipated from there. So no disrespect to them. But
what I will say
is that the only other name I knew locally in hip hop was Prophet, but we hadn't met each other at that time. And then I heard he was opening for Lloyd Banks, and I was so fucking jealous, man. I was so jealous. And then I get this flyer a week later.
Yeah.
My name, and no one ever asked me if I would do the show, because I would have gladly done it. You know what I mean? I wasn't even mad that they put my name on the flyer. I was honored. I was pissed that nobody asked me. You know what I mean? Like I would have done this shit. You know what I mean? And then so I had a little chip on my shoulder for Prophet for a couple of years after that. I didn't even know if he did or not. It's just a jealousy thing. You know, just petty jealousy. Like, oh, this fucker. You know.
Josh was just asking about what about Scott Freeze. I think he was just saying as a not pertaining to like the flyer thing. He was saying what about Scott Freeze as like an artist, like back in the day, just doing his thing.
So Scott Freeze at that time, Scott Freeze was like an urban legend at North Park. You know what I mean? So like I'm talking about dudes who are actually like doing music in the city. You know what I mean? Like Scott Freeze had a reputation for being the illest battler, and that's what I knew him as when I was in high school.
Sure,
like I never like heard any Scott Freeze songs or anything, but you know, and like I wasn't really aware of him doing any shows. I know he did do some shows in the I think right before maybe I was in high school, or like when I was too young to go to.
He wasn't like. He wasn't at like the battle. What's his thing? He had, weren't him and the Isaac brothers doing a brand back in the day? They weren't at like that stage and like pushing stuff yet. Yeah, it's like no disrespect. It's just like they weren't there at that point of like pushing a brand of like.
I don't even know if Tipsy was like rapping back then. Like that, I'm He probably was, but not like publicly as I knew. You know what I mean? I didn't even know Tipsy rapped until I think I was out of high school. People were telling me that he rapped.
Sure.
But I never seen him battle in high school or nothing. But the point I was making was there wasn't nobody else that rapped. Like there are other dudes who rap, like fucking Juicy rap, 6-Piece rap, fucking my boy the Baz rap, like fucking there were people, people like PJ, like there were people all around the city who rap, but there was not many people doing shit I was jealous of. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't jealous of doing battle rap, and that's all I was doing back in the day. I was going to football games, lunchroom ciphers, whatever, battling people. You know what I mean? Like that's how we came up. But like
this was like what, 11, 12 years ago?
What?
So this was what, like 11, 12 years ago? Like we're talking right now?
Whenever the Lloyd Banks shit was, man. Like this is, so we're talking like, fuck.
That's what I mean. Like I moved to the Plex when I was like 13, and like that, like I was like before I was 14, I met Prophet. Like he was just coming finishing that. Like, so I think it was like 10 or 11 years ago. This was.
Yeah, I think this is right around the time when we first started like putting shit out on YouTube, like massacres and shit. Like, because I was doing it like to get steady. Just I had already done at this point. So I think this is around the time when like YouTube started to kind of be a thing, and we started really utilizing YouTube in the Wild West days. But like the point I was making, I wasn't. It was no disrespect to like Scott or nothing. Scott was a legend at the time.
Yeah, like you said, like an urban legend.
I was saying there wasn't many people in the city doing things that I was jealous of. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Durant very early on had a song with Mocha Homie, so I was jealous of that. Get Steady, the reason why I dissed them when I was 14 is because they were the only cats my age I knew that were doing shows in the city. And I didn't know how to book a show. So I was like, yo, fuck it. I'm gonna rip these guys apart. And then you know what I mean?
It's the culture, though.
I was on savage mode, you know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, fuck it, you know? So that was kind of the thing with that. But so the only other person I was really jealous of at the time was Prophet with the Lloyd Banks look. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And then
all I would say is like.
Later,
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, all I will say is like, on his side of it, I don't know much. I've worked with him multiple times. I've never seen him ever put a name that hasn't been there on if he's had control of it. I can say that from my time I spent in the Brantford scene, I do know there was a lot of people that pulled a lot of steezy shit though. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? And I don't necessarily think Prophet at that time, because we were young. I don't necessarily think responsible for the flyer. I was just pissed because I was jealous. You know what I mean?
Just straight, you're being real. I was just pissed because I was jealous.
Yeah, I was just petty. You know what I mean? Like that's it. When we were young and you didn't know, like, you know, and that's kind of how breaking records became breaking records and all this shit. You know, like I learned to build myself because I came up watching people get looks and opportunities I wanted, and then I had to figure out how do I get that look? How do I get that opportunity? Mm-hmm. You know, you build it, will come. You know, that's you know, when no one else is putting on for you, you got to put it on for yourself, right? And so that's kind of you know.
That's actually one of my biggest mottos. Is a lot of people that come up to me and be like, as an artist, how do you? Why, like I'm like I was saying before, like I have nothing as an artist who like I was accomplished anything, but as a like I've done things, I've done shows, blah 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 blah. I have some sort of leeway to be able to push forward. And like, people have asked questions. It's like, you know what? When it comes down to it, as an artist, a businessman, or even just a person in general, my whole thing is, you know what? I see things I want, and I'm like, well, how do I get that? At first I was always looking at it like, how do I get that? And it's like, you know what? No, like how do I look at it? I need to switch up my view. And now I look at things as like, how do I create that for myself? For like examples, artists always want to have a show, so I created ASI Events. Now I'm an artist who creates my own shows. You know what I mean? And then, you know, as I wanted my own venue to just, you know, not only specifically to have my own venue just to perform in or have my own shows in, but as an events planner, why am I bringing all these other bars thousands of dollars of money off of one night when I could be doing it for myself? It's like, instead of looking at people like what they have and being like, I want to get that, I looked at it like, how do I create that for myself?
Yeah.
In a sense, like essentially it's the same way if you want to think about it, but it's not like, you know, I mean, you could say it's like, how do I get to that position, or how do I work and create the opportunities for myself to be able to create more like that for myself.
Well, exactly, man. You know, and that's actually, you know, we got in a bit of a Brantford thing there. And,
it's hard not to.
That was all cool and stuff. But before we move on to it, I do want to just make a point and say, like, it was no disrespect. I'm not saying that Scott Free wasn't doing his thing back then. He was. But when I got to North Park, And I first asked him, like, yo, who raps in
I
school?
forgot, bro. You were at MPC too. Same. I forgot. My bad.
Yeah. And then, like, when I first got there, people were like, yo, Scott Free's the dude here. Like, that's who raps. And then he was out of high school, I think, after my first year, so I never got to, like, at that time I wouldn't have even battled him. I would have been scared to, you know what I mean? But I was battling everybody my age.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't have stepped in the big fish like that, So I just want to make that clear, though. Like, Scott Free was a legend at school, and he was known for, to my knowledge, he was known for tearing shit up at, like, house parties and shit, too, really, before, like, I was hitting any house parties he would be at, you know what I mean? Because when you're in grade 9, you're not really hanging out with grade 12s. I might hang out with grade 10, but grade 12s and shit, they're off hanging out with more adults and shit, and it's kind of like you're a little shy to that a little bit, so, yeah, I mean, like, Scott Free, like, his reputation is, his reputation in Bell City coming up was well known, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I say, like, he was almost like an urban legend, you know what I mean? Because it was like, you heard tales of Scott Free ripping people to pieces, and that's why I think it was perfect when they started the Bell City battles too. Like, what greater person than, you know what I mean? He really, to me, he's like, I always looked at him as like one of the more legendary battle rap cats in Brantford prior to battle rap being an online thing. And then once it became an online thing, he was one of the first dudes in King of the Dot. You know what I mean? Like he was there in the mud, and he really has represented Bell City hip hop as far as battling goes. I think, to any higher degree than anybody else has. So all credit goes to him as far as that
That's
goes.
it.
I just want to make that.
That's it. My bad. Josh just put it. I was trying to name it before. They have Workshop Regime now. That's their brand now. Like what I was saying before, when he was rapping, like he didn't really have a brand going yet, but like now they have Workshop Regime. You know, like pushing that.
Boom Bap Camp. Yeah, Boom Bap Camp.
Boom Bap Camp. True. Okay.
That was his thing back then, but I think that was like a crew of him and like his boys, and I think they were like all battle cats. I'm not 100% sure. I think they did some shows under that name, but like I said, that history exceeds kind of my timeline. You know what I mean? Like my introduction to hip hop, publicly was, the summer going into grade 9 and going around to like house parties and shit, battling cats, and then once I started hip hop high school, going to the football games, so we would battle cats, you know what I mean? And that was kind of my introduction. And then battling in high school, anytime someone wanted the food date, they could step up and get served, but that was pretty much it. That was my introduction. So I never even got to see Scott battle in those old days, but I've heard that there were some fierce battles. But anyways, that being said, man, so talking about City and shit, we're here to uncover your history though. So tell us a little bit about like when you first met Prophet. I know you mentioned you were playing basketball. You just came off the Lloyd Banks thing. Like how did you guys start working together?
That's actually kind of funny how you kind of like coincided that freaking basketball to that, because that's really how we kind of started working together. My bad. Freaking business. I'm just telling them head right back. But so it was really like when I first came to the Plex, like I said, I wasn't really smoking weed or nothing. I wasn't a complex kid, like, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to better explain that. As I didn't smoke weed, or I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. I was only 14, let alone everyone around me was doing that. So I literally went to I went to school, came home, went to the basketball court, went home. That's it. Like I was just in the basketball court all day. And then there was this, after like 3 weeks of it, I remember I came home from school, and there was this crew playing ball. Like it was Donald Cross, Abdi, what else is his name? Not Tyrese Tyrell. No, there's another guy with a T. I forget his name. I feel so bad. Something Gibson. Cause I went to high school with his brother too. But Abdi, a couple of these Eastern boys, and then there was Lehigh. And freaking my first day is like I'm 14. These dudes are like late 20s, maybe some just a little bit younger. And they're on one side of the court. I go to play, and I'm like, obviously, hey, you guys want another player? And they looked at me, and they laughed. Like I'm this little chubby white kid. They laughed. They're like, nah, man, it's all good. Like they literally laughed it off. I swear, like you could ask Lehigh to testify. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I went to the other half, and I just started shooting. And I just started playing. I think this happened like for another 2 or 3 times. I saw them there, and this is like within a period of like 3 weeks. Like they weren't always there every day. And so like I think it was like the 3rd week, someone had to go. I think it was Abdi or someone had to dip. So they're like, hey, we need someone in. I was like, all right, let's go. And then like I started playing, like, you know what I mean, ever since then, like I don't know if it was like how I played or like they just took pity on how I played, and they wanted to teach me how to play better, or they just wanted like a picking dummy, like you know what I mean, a dummy to pick on, you know, like that one kid that one player that's like the last one picked. Yeah, I don't know, but eventually, like you know what I mean, I just kept playing ball with them. Oh man, this one time, you know American 21, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know.
you went black.
Hmm. Oh, did I?
I can't see you no more.
Oh, one sec.
That might just be on my end.
One sec. Let me see. No, I can still see you. Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can see myself.
Here we go.
There we go. Well, there's your picture. There you
Yeah, I just reset the video. But so there's this one time I get back from school and you know American 21, like how it's like you shoot from the line and it's all free, like it's free for all.
Yeah.
And bro, I started the game. I never left the line. Straight the whole game. Like it was only one game. I only did it once, but it was like I hit 1, 3, 5. Donald moved me 7, 9. Lehigh Boozy, like all the way straight to 21. And man, that was crazy. But like so I was just playing ball like for a while, and then I think that Shubi came back from finishing up. So like at this point, like I kind of knew of people, and they all just really knew of me as that kid who just played basketball and didn't smoke weed. So like everyone went to talk to him, and I went to talk to him, not talk to him, just to see what everyone was saying. And like I'm just listening and being quiet. And I think about 2-3 weeks later, I'm playing basketball by myself, and then Donald Cross shows up. It's just him, and he's shooting around. I'm like, you want to play 1v1? And he laughs, but he's like, all right, let's go. Friggin' this fucking guy, man. He's like 21. I don't know how old he was at the time, but he was over 20. I know that. And I'm like 14, and he goes to do a layup, and he just brings his fucking big ass knee right to my gut, and I'm just like out breathing for like 10 minutes, like. Yeah, Deepak was always there. Josh, thank you. Deepak was there with his cousins too. Friggin' at the ball court. But Cross gets you in the gun, and I'm like, I had to take like a breather for like 5 minutes. And I remember Prophet coming around like out from the fence to play ball real quick, and I haven't really seen him much. And we're shooting around, and then Cross had to cut, and then we're shooting, and we just get to talking, just about shit. And I started asking about music, blah 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 blah. Like I didn't tell him I write music, but I just told him I was interested in events and stuff. And the one time Lehigh hits me up like a week or so later saying, hey, my brother wants to talk to you. And Prophet's like, hey, I need someone to work my merch table. And he gives me like this very inspiring speech. And so like you know how he can be sometimes with his words. Like he's a very, 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 very powerful word. Like I swear he's like learns from Obama or something. I don't know. A very inspiring man with his words. And so like for that, like it just went from there. Like I was working his merch table at grade 9 or 10. You know what I mean? I go to school, and then I'd ask my mom like on weekends, hey, can I go stay at this nightclub till 3 a.m. working the merch table? And my mom knew I didn't really like to drink or anything, so she just knew I was really just trying to like learn. And that experience. And that was more so essentially how I really got into it. Like I remember he gave me this. I was already writing music, but the one thing when he after the morning of the first merch show, he's like, so you write? He gave me this notebook. He said, fill it front to back. Let me know when you're done. And like I hit him back, and like I think it was like within a week. I'm like, here you go. And like he's looking through. He's like, what? You did front and back pages? Like what the fuck? He's like okay. Like, and like it's just I don't know. It's just from there it just kind of went forward. You know what I mean? I always just kept learning in every aspect I could, from events to watching him record to watching him deal with business in a sense. Just because really he was the only one I knew in a sense that was doing stuff that was aligned with what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to do city festivals, and I remember suggesting it to him, but he wasn't really. It wasn't what he was really looking to do at the time. So, one of the things I first did when I came out to Niagara, Welland Fall Festival, was a city vendor festival. It's huge. You were there. You came and performed. That was one of the first big. That was like one of my big things I did when I first came out here. After getting events going and stuff, it's like I always wanted to do the festival. And I did it, and I'm going to be touching back on it as well. Except for now we have our own space to do it instead of that space. We can do it at our bar space. We have a huge field beside it, and we can run the whole thing there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. And so that's actually, to move forward as well too. Being that I did get cut off last time, I think it's perfect second. But I just want to talk to you about as well too, like kind of your experience. Firstly, just even getting into owning a nightclub, like. how do you go from like being interested in event planning, being like, oh fuck it, I'm buying the club. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty big fucking.
Okay, so let me tell you one thing. I've known a lot. I'm pretty sure you've known a lot of bar owners and nightclub owners as well. But I've met a lot of bar owners and worked with them in a lot of ways in this area. I can tell you, there's not one sole person that just wakes up and goes, "I'm gonna buy a fucking nightclub." There's one person that has an idea that like, "Hey, we could do this," and brings it to somebody, and they're like, "Let's go see if we can do this." But the main real thing is, I've always wanted a venue. I've always wanted, like I said before, I've always wanted a venue. I've always wanted a restaurant. And like I said, I'm a person who sees things, and when I want to get something, instead of saying like, how do I go and get that or take that from someone or earn to their position, I look at it as, how do I create this for myself? And it was actually from a failed event. I had this huge event, one of the biggest events I ever planned, and it would have been very successful. It would have been very, very successful. The AGCO kind of messed me up on it. It was about Beer Olympics, and it was all about the fine writing when it comes down to it.
I remember you, when you were in the works of that.
And so we had all the venues booked. We had all these people, all this stuff. We had to pay it all back. And in hindsight, it's a big shit show because I had to give all these refunds, and I didn't make no money, and I spent about a year of my life doing it. But, launching it, planning it, everything. But one of the venues that I had planned messages me, "Hey, I have this great opportunity for you. Can we just talk?" And I'm like, honestly, I don't have time to talk right now. I have to figure all this stuff out that's going, all the shit that's hitting the fan. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, they message me and they say, "Hey, we still want to talk to you." I'm like, okay, what is this? Is this like a deal with the devil? What is going on? You know what I mean? I don't understand. I just screwed up this big event. What do they want to deal with me for? What do they want, right? And so I go, and lo and behold, they show me this property. This property that's yellow and blue and just hasn't been touched in 10 years, which is now Lux. I saw it, and they weren't doing anything with it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to put this much into it. We negotiated everything, and it was honestly just seeing something and being able to see the vision of what you can create. I originally wanted it as an event hall and just run my events through, but then I realized that Welland doesn't have a dance hall or a nightclub, so let's just run it as a nightclub, do all our events in, and run it as a lounge too as well. And now, fast forward to about a year and a half later, after we actually opened, 2 years after we actually took over the property, we will now have the biggest patio in Welland. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have a concert there. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be crazy. It's just...
Yo, actually, we won't do it on here, but once the world's back open, I got some idea. We talked a little bit about maybe something we can do.
We got a lot of stuff in the works.
I want to do something.
We got a lot of stuff. For sure. Sorry, yes, I know it was a really long explanation, but it was really it's always been something I wanted to do, but then it was just waiting, and I was, when I signed the lease for the property, I think I was negative $200 in my bank account. And so you know what I mean? I had one person with me. The girl I was with, I was with, God bless her heart, we're not together anymore, but she covered me for my deposit. She's paid back and everything. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the dude. I'm not the dude to let a girl put money into a business and walk away. But at the time, she covered me, and that actually. You gold digging, it's high. No, it wasn't, bro. It wasn't about that. It literally wasn't. If I was gonna gold dig, I was at least find a sugar mommy, not a girl who just got rich grandparents. You know what I mean? Let's be real. But she did cover me, and I feel, I almost feel guilty for saying that because it's almost like a fake thing. But you know what I mean? She obviously, I paid her back and everything. But what I just want to point out is, if I looked at it from a non-risk standpoint, so if I was this is going to be a huge risk, all this shit, and I just said, I'm not going to do it, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be able to say I accomplished being able to help keep us afloat over COVID. I was this business owner that started something and hasn't stopped, even though the government's telling me to sit on my butt with my thumb up it. It's, you know what I mean? the smallest opportunities and the smallest, not the smallest, the smallest to biggest, and the small opportunities to the smallest to biggest mistakes are meant to happen. And no matter what you do, life's gonna happen. You know those times you just wake up, you're like, why did I do this? You know what I mean? That's life. It's gonna happen. You just gotta learn from it and do what you can. But the craziest things will surprise you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the craziest things will surprise you. If you asked me 5 years ago, someone time traveled, like one of my best friends time traveled back 5 years ago, looked at me and said, "You own a nightclub in 5 years. You did this and you did that," and I'd look at them like, I'm pretty sure I'm dropping out of college. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
But you're very correct, you know, because one thing I say too, I say that all the time, is if you ask me, you know, well, I guess now it'd be more like 7 years ago, but like, if you're like, yo, you're gonna own a media company, I'd be like, fuck I am. I'm gonna be rapping.
What's a media company, bro?
And like, you know, but the shit, the thing I say about opportunity and about, you know, succeeding is that the reason why hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard is because as long as you're constantly working, you're not only, it depends, like, you don't even have to believe in energy. If you believe in energy and shit,
I'm just grabbing a refill. Please continue. I'm just grabbing a refill.
That's one thing, you know. That's one thing. Yo, can you still hear me though?
Yeah, I can. That's what I said. I'm gonna refill.
Okay.
Keep going.
But you know, if you believe in that shit, then that's a whole other layer to it. But even if you don't believe in that, you know, one of Innis's teachers at school told him, luck is nothing but luck is constantly working and being there at the right time when an opportunity presents itself. And it's very true. Like, you're never gonna get nowhere or get that right opportunity if you're not constantly working. Like, because that working and being active is what puts you in the positions where somebody actually calls you, like, yo, I got this opportunity. Yo, I got this. Or you're just talking to somebody. And you know what I mean? Like, that's where opportunity comes from, is being present in some sort of arena or in some sort of field to where somebody can present an opportunity to you. You know what I mean? And so
there's two
one thing I
things.
always say. And a lot of times your biggest opportunities will come in the form of something that is disguised. So like some of the biggest opportunities I've ever got have come through really random like things that you don't think it's gonna be nothing. Like an old friend messages you, or like you know, you meet a guy in a cab and like he, you know, says, "Oh, I know this guy," and you're like, "Yeah, bullshit." And then he texts you a week later, and he actually knows this guy. And the next thing you know, you're linked up with this dude, and you're like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, but I find that opportunities always come in these really weird. Like a lot of times, big opportunities will come in these really weird areas. And it's on you to be to actively think like, "Yo, I don't know where this is going, but I'm gonna see what it has to offer." You know what I mean? That's where a lot of people will just be like, "Ah, this guy's bullshit," or "This is nothing," or you know what I mean? And they'll brush it off and just keep like, you know, act like.
There's three things you said there. I want to touch on that. The first one was I've heard, you know, hard work beats talent, but I haven't actually very much heard the second part of that. That was hard work beats hard. The first saying you said there, talent.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
When talent doesn't work hard. I haven't really heard that part. That's something very key. That's yeah. Like Amola says, that's fire. That is beautiful. I haven't really heard that. I gotta write that shit down.
That's what drives the whole hard work beats talent. I believe that's not even a saying without the second part of the sentence.
And that's what I mean. So a lot of times I've heard hard work beats talent, and I've always kind of questioned it. Like, you know what? Like, but to be talented, you kind of have to have hard work at it. But when you say when talent doesn't work hard, and then that kind of finishes it essentially, you know what I mean? There are those people who can just pick up something and just be naturally good. Yeah. I don't know if you follow Naruto. I'm a huge fan of Naruto. Rock Lee, you know what I mean? Hardest working to be the strongest ninja, the cartoon. I'm not even going to go to that backstory, but there's a reference for anybody else watching who knows Naruto. The other thing I wanted to touch on though as well is like when you said the biggest opportunities come in some of the smallest I want to say smallest occurrences. Like it's the last thing, you know what I mean, you expect. Like, so for example, the club, you know, last thing I expected was for a venue that I had to cancel on to show me a space they wanted me to take over because they saw how hard I worked and hustled. and as well too, like you said, you know, somebody texts you out of the blue. I can honestly say in the last few months, I had a friend of mine text me out of the blue. I haven't seen. I used to work with him months, like years ago even, and he was able to provide me with an opportunity that honestly has just changed my whole momentum and changed my whole life in a sense. And it's just the weirdest thing that it was the smallest thing, and it just was able to flip. And it was, you know, one of the best opportunities, and that's what a lot of people really need to take in. Like, don't sell yourself short from life when it comes down to, you know, like if you're at a grocery store. I know this might be like a frivolous thing to relate it to. Say you're at a grocery store, you see a hot chick, go say hi. Like maybe not a grocery store because like she might think you're harassing her, and it's COVID. But I'm just saying, do those things that you think.
No, go say hi.
Go say hi. Fuck it. Go say hi. Hey yo, how'd you meet your wifey? Met her at a grocery store, dog. We got 2 kids now.
I've never regretted approaching a girl in public that I thought was giving me the eye. You know what I mean? Now that I spent years never doing that approach, yeah. But when I did start, I never regretted it.
for sure. But even then, like business opportunities, in a sense, like artists, you know what I mean? When you're looking at, like, say, I wouldn't go radio station too much unless it's, say, Breaking Records Radio. But if you're looking for, like, submit your music, instead of being, like, sitting there in your head, oh, man, I wonder who I got to get in contact with. Oh, I can't get in contact. Go ask the question. Just Breaking Record Radio, man's right here. Shoot your music. You know what I mean? Like, go ask those questions. When you want to know something, go ask those questions. You want to go talk to the girl, go ask. Because I'm telling you, the greatest opportunities, like we're saying, are stuff that you just won't expect happening from the smallest occurrences.
Yeah, and they always come in these weird times, from the most unknown, like the most random shit I find. A lot of opportunities in life, man. And then if you listen to a lot of success stories, nobody talks about it, but I find a lot of times, like, people who end up being, like, moguls, it's from these very small things where, like, it almost didn't happen, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure the story of, like, Kanye, you know what I mean, going to New York and first linking with whoever, like, you know what I mean? Like, you look at a lot of backstories, like, even Eminem, you know what I mean? Like, going to the rap Olympics and stuff and handing the CDs out. One guy happening to get it, bring it back to Jimmy Iovine, and then Jimmy Iovine happening to throw it in a pile of CDs, and Dr. Dre happening to go through that pile of CDs, and someone was like, yo, I threw this in, like, keep your eye open for this, and he's like, all right, I guess. Like, all these little random occurrences, you know what I mean? Like, there almost could have never been Eminem if all these weird little nuanced things didn't happen to fall in line, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it all comes... It all boils down to Eminem being there, doing the groundwork, being at the Rap Olympics to begin with, handing out his TVs for free, like being so, like just being there in the moment, ready to work, offering everything you got. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of these opportunities come from. And it will never be direct. It's not Dr. Dre walking up on you like, hey, what's up? Hell yeah, we gonna get this work done. Like, it's gonna be like this weird process.
Bro, can you do that with Dr. Dre voice for you? Yo, execute. Clip this shit. Clip that shit, bro. Highlight that shit. Do that voice again.
Hell yeah.
It was like a mix of Mr. T and like the Kool-Aid Man, bro. I don't know if you're about to refuse to get on a plane or bust through a wall saying, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was good. But the one thing I did want to sorry, you touched on luck too as well before. Was saying like if you put enough work, it don't like luck almost doesn't exist because it's just your work speaks for itself. Where those little occurrences kind of just happen, and I've kind of really realized
you're
that
in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
and that's exactly it.
Like that's what I've kind of been realizing is that like honestly this whole year to begin with is like. I'm starting to, like, before it was happening and I was just considering it lucky, but now it's coming to a point where, like, it's not even thinking like it's luck. I'm just realizing what work I did to get to there before, and that made those little occurrences happen, and I'm like, okay, this is why I keep doing this and keep moving forward. The other thing I wanted to say as well is, like, with Eminem, like, Eminem is Eminem, but as well, too, I've watched so many interviews where Eminem is, like, where other artists who say, like, who have worked with Eminem, or he's such a peculiar artist to work with. Like, there are artists who will be like, I spent 3 days in the studio, you know, who's working harder than me, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Eminem literally treats it like a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? Like, Akon, I think he's the one I think most clearly I could remember in an interview who just straight up says, I've never worked with someone who just, all right, 5 o'clock hits, he's clocking out like it's a job, see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and like, that's the way he goes about it. And like, so for him, obviously, what I'm just trying to say is hard work pays off, obviously, but as well does taking care of yourself and what you care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard work is hard work. Go ahead.
You get awarded to take care of yourself. But in your come up, nobody takes time to take care of themselves in the come up. Because once you come up,
that's
you
true.
learn to take care of yourself. That's the way I see it.
I mean, that's very true. But I mean, like, I'm just saying that everyone as well too. Even during the come up, you know it too as well. During your come up, when those days where you just got so drained, where you felt like you had no motivation to do anything. You know you wanted to, but like you didn't feel like those are those times. You know what I mean? You felt like it stalled you. So I'm just saying, like, you gotta also make sure, even if it's just 2 hours a day or something, grind, take care of you, yourself, and your family as well. For those people who gotta grind on their family too. You know what I mean? When they're with their family too is all. Or you're gonna get to that point where you're just and the thing that really gets me is, like, I cannot tell you how many things I've said or done that it was a huge regret or mistake, and to this day I won't regret it because it is who I am and I know how I learned from it. But things I've done that I wish I didn't, and I wish I would have been a different situation because I was in that burnt mind state. You know what I mean? The people I cared about, in a sense, and like that's really detrimental to a lot of people. It can really fuck up your life.
No, you're right. And I've fucked up personal relationships and shit too, just to be a person. And it's a strain on any relationship you have too. Like, you know, like not even just friendships, but like with the opposite sex. And it's also a strain on like family and shit too. Like my biggest regret, you know, with my mom passing is like that I wish I could have slowed down and enjoyed life a little bit more these last 15 years. You know what I mean? I was just so work, and like, you know, make time when you have to kind of thing. Like, I wish I really would have made more time. And I did. Like, I'm not saying I was never there, you know what I mean? But I just mean, like, you look back and you're like, I really could have allocated more time to, like, go back home and hang out with my family and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff that you can't take back, you can't regret, because it brought you to where you are, and it is who you are, and it's part of your story. But it's like, it is very important to sit back sometimes and enjoy life around you as it's happening. But I think a lot of people with our mind states, it's just always go. And when you do try to slow down and hang out with just, like, you know, somebody in the family, your brain's still going. You're still thinking of ideas. And you're spending half the time on your phone and messaging people like, yo, I got this idea. And like, yo, what about this and this? And like, yo, hold on, I just got to take this call. And you know what I mean? So you're still kind of like, it's hard for us to shut it off, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But
and
one thing you said,
sorry.
important to rec.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah. I was just saying that's like that's what I can definitely say is like I never really found the advantage of. I'm still in the middle of a come up, but you know what I mean. I never found the advantage of doing so in my youth when I was trying. Like now I do know when I'm like I'm still trying to get control of it, of the turn off situation where I'm like, okay, I need to, or like this is just gonna burn me. Like I need to just kind of like I need to just settle back and look at something else for a second so I don't feel like I'm just enclosed. Because I find a lot of people too, when you just get so involved in this one idea, is you get enclosed with it. You know what I mean? You get so enclosed into it where you don't even realize. You start to get stuck on these one simple problems even, where if you take a few seconds to like say go play basketball, go do the dishes, next thing you know you're not even thinking about it, and then eureka, an epiphany, oh that's the easiest answer right there. Yeah, you know I mean, like that kind of thing. And like my bad, we always get sidetracked there. Sorry, you after the nightclub, where were we?
Well, so you spoke to kind of how the opportunity came about, but I would also like to know, though, so like, what was the process of actually turning it from a property that was like just sitting there vacant for however fucking long to actually making it a nightclub and like liquor licenses and shit like that? Like, people don't realize how much fucking work goes into.
Okay, I need this. I gotta. I'm glad you touched on the liquor license because I probably wouldn't have, but I got. Okay, one sec.
Well, you know, liquor licenses is like one of the biggest fucking black markets in New York City, right? You know, and I know, like, well, in New York City are different places, but saying that to say, there's a lot of money in liquor licensing, and there's a lot of fucking headache and wrapping around, like, yeah. Let me
begin with saying this is, I don't know about currently, but I do know for a fact that Welland City Hall has been put through the scrutiny of corruption for multiple things being paid and not being recorded for. I have no proof of nothing. I am just stating what I've heard. But what I can tell you, well, I'll get to the liquor license actually. The whole process of it essentially is, so the property hadn't been touched in 10 years, but 10 years ago it was there was a steakhouse above it, and then a Latin dance club below.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the Latin dance club. There was a place called El Casa or something, El Casadoro, and then there was a place called the Cave. The Cave was a nightclub essentially that was a bar. You know what I mean? When we took over the property, it had a bar built and it had a fridge. Everything else was the walls were yellow and blue. The floor, we had to replace the tiling. Well, we had to rip out all the tiling. We just put a clear coat. We did our own designs for the floor. You know what I want to say, like I grew up doing renovations and like building fences, so I'm not anyone who's new to having tools in my hand. You know, drywalling, all that shit, putting up roofing, setting up those, I don't even know what they're called, the frame roofs, like the styrofoam square roof tiles and shit, like setting up that. It's all pretty simple shit. So all that stuff, that was the easiest stuff we did ourselves. Painting, all the renovations we did ourselves. The most headache was actually, like I said, I'm glad you touched on the liquor license. When we first took over, we were new business owners, and so we were listening to one person who we thought had our best interest out. And so we were doing renovations for like 4 or 5 months, and then I actually speak to a liquor license officer, and he goes, "Why aren't you already applied? You do realize people apply for their liquor license before they even start renovations?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like, yeah, you're like, people, it's very common that bar owners apply for their liquor license before they even sign a lease. Or at least that's what he said to me. He was like, I was like, well, like the official lease. So if you take over a property, most places do a term agreement, and then what's a period of time where you're able to inspect the property, you know, go through it, and then you get their official lease. So during that term agreement, you're supposed to really apply for your AGCO license. So I'm like, hey, can I have your number, AGCO person, and let's just get this shit done. So then I stopped listening to this one guy, and then start listening to the actual AGCO officer, getting it all done. Even then, when it pertains, so for the liquor license, you have to get a bunch of inspections that all have to go through the city. I don't know why, it just seems like it's been this thing that Welland does not like people who are not from Welland. Like, I don't know if it's like this cult thing, this small town thing, like, or they're just saving all the opportunities for their people. I don't know. It's a great city. They have a lot of support for locals, but I just don't know what it was. But all of our permits, all of our inspections took a lot longer than they should have. Like, I know people who applied for their bar owners, who applied for their stuff and got it all done within a month's time of each application. Yeah. Ours took 3 to 4 months for each, and it was just all right, bro, like, this is what I don't get, okay? So we talked to this fire general, and we explained we're doing a nightclub, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have a smoke machine. Cool. He instructs the freaking one guy who's installing the fire alarm. He tells him, not in front of us, but he purposely tells him put an iodine fire alarm in, which basically makes it impossible to use a smoke machine. Which makes it really shitty for indoor, because we had it. There was just so, but we're still here, and you know what I mean. The AGCO, the official AGCO officer, was an amazing person to work with. The city hall of Welland and every single person out in the department was a headache and a half, but I was just very, the whole process of it essentially, when it comes down to it, is, you know, a lot of people can look at me and say I did this. Yes, I was a brain and a spearhead behind it, but I would not be here and who done everything without specific people that were around me. You know, specific people in Brantford. I'm not going to name them because he probably doesn't want me to name them. But, you know, like both a couple people in Brantford there. There's, you know, we have zero debt right now on paper and everything. We have zero. Oh, yours went black. But we have zero debt on paper, and, you know, and we have no loans, no credit. It's all out of pocket, and, you know, to be 25-year-old business owners, to say as a nightclub, to say that, like, we're in the green. All we need to worry about is making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I have a seed investor who has put money into me, to put money in the company, but you obviously understand for certain reasons as well why, you know, we have it organized how we have it organized. But the main thing is just like when it comes down to it, no bank is giving us a loan, no credit, no nothing. Like it's a very big collective project that has my pretty or ugly mug on it, but when it comes down to it, the people who are those people I'm speaking about do know exactly who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like I can say it's less than literally 5 people that have been able to make this whole project go and have given me the blessing to be able to, you know, be where I am today.
Yeah.
And so like we were speaking on before, the smallest occurrences and the smallest things is, you know, I mean, these are people as well too. I never would have thought believed in me on that kind of aspect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as well too, like people who gave me opportunities to make things happen. And like I can't even speak on so many things that people have come to me and be like, hey, you think we should do this? We can make some money. And I was like, I know we can make some money. Let's go do it. When they could have brought it to 50 other thousand people.
Yeah.
And so it's a blessing, and it's really, like I was saying before, that if I wasn't who I was in Brantford and grew up where I did, I wouldn't be able to make this thing happen. I really wouldn't. The people around me there, the people I grew up with, the lessons I learned as a kid growing up, you know what I mean? They really made me into the person I am today and made me be the businessman I am, where you can attest where learning in the complex you kind of learn this no nonsense bullshit, no sense for bullshit type shit. And once you sense bullshit, you kind of get a little fishy, and you're like, all right, well, if I'm in a business meeting, no one's trying to rob me in my face, but you're trying to rob me on paper in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it's
street smarts is always it's helpful. You know what I mean? It's very helpful in many ways. You know, it's like you know, how a PhD in street smarts can be almost as valuable or more so valuable than a fucking PhD in, you know, some sort of college degree.
Who is it? Elon Musk says, like, I didn't go to Harvard, but people who work for me did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not always about paper. It's always about on-paper credentials.
Exactly, man. Just how you view things, perspective.
Actually, this is one piece of knowledge I want to actually bless on to people that really changed my knowledge on college. One of, like, you know, you can have all these teachers in college, and not every teacher really gives a shit. But there's one teacher I highly respected. He was someone who wanted people to learn. You ask him questions, you know what I mean? If you were late on an assignment, you could tell him what's up. Like, he was a teacher who wanted to be there as a teacher, not just a job, you know what I'm saying? And I asked him, he loved my questions, he hated them, because I can't tell you how many times he'd be like, you know what, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, Dalton. But, forgive him. One time he's asking the question about experience and, you know, college and paperwork, and I was like, in your professional opinion, would you hire someone who's more experienced or who just came out on a roll at college? And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, so say you're hiring for he ran a photography business. I'm like, say you're hiring for your photography business. Are you going to hire the person who's 20 years old, who has 4 years experience, working on his own as a freelancer? Or are you going to hire the person who just came out of a 4-year degree, honor rolls, photography, you know, the best in his class, all this? As a business person, what would you do? Personally, like, who would you hire? I know you just went through some interns and stuff. Who would you hire? Say some kid who just came out of media classes, everything fucking top of the grade. Say it was fucking Rockham School, college of learning to sell and market media. I couldn't think of a bigger name off the top of my head that you might respect as an OG. Like, who would you hire?
Yeah.
Like, what would your pick be? The experience or the credentials?
Me, personally?
Yeah.
Well, it can go one of two ways, right? But the experience is more important to me, but, like, you know, you could also have 4 years experience fucking suck too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So experience I'm going with, as long as the experience speaks for
yeah,
itself.
sorry,
like,
yeah.
you know,
sorry. Say the work's in
the
front of
guy-
you. Say you see their work in front of you, the credentials there. You know, obviously, sorry, that was too vague.
Yeah.
But that's literally
Like,
what.
let's say, you know, like if dude with experience has experience in hip hop, you know, me personally, And I've seen him interview, like, let's say, local guys or whatever, but it's always well-informed. You can tell he does his research and shit, and he's one of the culture and understands. And then you get this guy who's just honor roll top of his class, and yeah, maybe he's good at researching and citing, but, like, he can't pronounce Rakim's name. He calls him Rakim. I'm going with the guy with experience. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
100%.
And that's exactly like that, not to that degree, obviously, with the Rakim and the name, but his literal response was, you know what, I think everybody in my professional field and anybody I know in the professional field will hire someone with their experience. And he's like, but take that in because of this, and this. And that was probably, I think, about 2 weeks before I decided to drop out of Niagara College, just because I had not an altercation. Altercation sounds like a fight. I had a disagreement with a teacher because I was late, and then he called security because I wouldn't tell him why I was late. And security decided to tell me that the teacher has the full right to kick me out of class if he just doesn't like me. So I was like, yeah, I'm not paying you guys anything anymore. I'm going to go continue what I'm doing. But
shit.
Like, that's just, I'll let you continue as well too. We're going for a little bit here. You probably get a couple more questions there. But like, that kind of knowledge right there is just like, when that teacher told me that, and he was someone I respected, so I really took it in. I sat on that and I kind of like melded over for a bit. Like, you know what, man? In my lifetime, like in my life right now, I think what's really going to be more experience, like better for me, is to go and find out this real life experience of what I want to do. And it was trust me, it was not easy, bro. Not fucking before even the nightclub right now, we're still struggling, but we're about to reopen. We got reservations coming in, which is blessed for June 18th already. So you know what I mean, which is it's looking up. But whoo, I think you can say so yourself. Like when you first kind of go out to really set off on your own, like it's a bitch. It's a bitch.
Nothing is easy when you do it from the mud, bro. But that's the difference between, like, you know, I think a lot of times the passion is to a degree what success comes from too, right? It's like anybody can come out of college and have, you know, look good on paper, and they can do something. They can start their event planning business, do whatever. But like the guy who's been getting it out the mud since he turned legal age to drink and started throwing his own events and like, you know what I mean? It's like, that dude's always going to flourish more, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Like, somebody who gets it out of the mud, who understands, like, you know, you understand the compromise and the time and the work. And there's almost something more beneficial, too. Like, when you just get told how to do things, you almost take it for granted. Regardless of, like, what you pay for your education, how blessed you are to be there. Like, it takes a certain kind of person to really take, like, just, like, school more than just for granted. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times you gotta, alright, thank God class is over, I wanna go get high, or I wanna, you know what I mean? But like, when you gotta teach yourself how to do things and figure out how to do everything by yourself, and it's a very long, tedious process, and a lot of doors get slammed in your face, and people don't wanna fuck with you, and nobody takes it serious. When you learn how to do things, you appreciate that shit a lot more, and you don't forget it. It doesn't slip your mind after you write the test. Like, you remember that shit forever. And you learn how to expand beyond it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you start to learn, like, you know, and it goes with everything, from the smallest parts to the biggest parts, right? And it's all a learning process, and that's why experience at the end of the day, too, like, it kind of circled back to what you asked originally, even though we kind of were moving off of it, but, you know, it really just circled back onto it perfectly, because it's like, at the end of the day, experience is what's necessary in everything, you know, without it.
What was I gonna say? Forgetting. I'm actually very. Sorry, people just started blowing me up. I can't answer them right now because I gotta. I'm focused. Business first before that business. There was something you touched on there really quickly. Just for experience too as well. Like, oh man. You were speaking about getting it out the mud, blah blah blah, not blah 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 blah, but being such a young kid and having the experience over a lot of people for events and stuff. Sorry, that's with it. The one thing I find that is really, I'm finding is the difference between people that say they were at the school where, you know, with the credentials, the barrier, I don't want to say the problem or the issue, the barrier between those people who are successful and the people who just aren't fully there yet. I don't want to say aren't successful, just aren't fully past that barrier, is that barrier between people who, I really find is mainly in people that are just getting out of school, is when you get told what to do and how to do it, you're always looking for someone to that form of approval. You know what I mean? I know full grown adults that are twice my age who still come to me and be like, is this correct? And it's like, okay, like, if you want to really breach that barrier and be that successful person, in a sense, be a leader in what you're doing, you kind of have to develop that. No, you absolutely have to develop that sense of where, hey, I like the confidence in enough to really have that voice in the back of your head, like, you know what? And I do it all. I catch myself all the time. You might as well too. You probably do as well too. When you're working on something, you start getting a little, oh, I can do this. I can work on this. I can do. I can tweak this. I can tweak this. I'm still having trouble trying to control it, but you kind of have develop that voice where you're like, you know what, I'm happy with it. I need to move forward, and that's it. Say a cook. You know what I mean? Your presentation. You know what I mean? Your presentation with food. Instead of looking at your head chef, is that okay? Look at it and be like, yeah, I can serve this. You know what I mean? Or, like almost.
Well, what you said. Sorry, not to.
No, go ahead. I'm done. I'm good.
But to what you said is actually another one of my favorite sayings. And it applies. What you're saying can be used really in any field of anything. This is more niched, but if you look at it on a wider scale, it kind of applies to everything as well too. But like one of my favorite sayings is, art is never finished; it's abandoned and put on display. You know what I mean? Like, you never really, like,
absolutely,
as a painter, as a musician, as a whatever, like, you're never really fully happy with something by the time you put it out. It's just either you meet deadlines or whatever it may be, or you just, you moved on to something else. Like, your passion's not in there anymore. You're like, well, it's good enough. I'm happy enough with it to make it public and let the world, take a gander at it.
It sounds kind of redundant, but it's almost like exactly how you said. Like, sorry, the way I want to relate that saying to is, frick, that saying, I'm gonna replay that too. Right, there's a bunch of sayings you got. I'm gonna like write down, bro. But the way I want to really relate that saying to is sort of, sorry, hit me again with that one more time. Sorry, art is never finished. It's
abandoned and put on display.
Abandoned and put on display. Damn, bro. I'm just taking that in. Like, damn. It's to me. I want to relate it to and it sounds kind of redundant. It's almost like a well thought out plan, because every great plan changes every day.
You know
what I mean? It's like, no matter how much you want to well plan it out for, you can plan out your whole life in one day, and be like, you know what, you can thoroughly think through every second of every minute for the rest of whenever you think you're gonna die. And as soon as you go to sleep and wake up, fuck it, by the time you're done planning that, whatever it is, it's changed already. Like, it's just life. It's how it goes. That's how plans work. You know what I mean? Like, how many times I've had to go back to the drawing board for, you probably do know how many times, like, you've had to go back to the drawing board to be like, shit, okay, well, now I gotta replan this. Okay, well, that's life. And that's what I mean. It's just like, I like the way you said it more. Art is never finished. It's just left and put on display, and that is very, very, very profound in my sense, because I find art, and I find art is beautiful in all forms, but I find forms of things that people don't think is art and is art. You know what I mean? I think it's art is just a form of expression.
It's true, man, and the thing about that as well too is, another one of my favorite sayings, and I'm just becoming I'm just a cliche philosopher here, but another one of my favorite sayings is beauty's in the imperfections, right? And I think that's another part about, art in itself. Like, you don't want a polished piece of music. Like, I can't stand fucking listening to Justin Bieber, man. And no disrespect to Justin Bieber, some of his songs go, but there's just something about something too polished where it just doesn't feel real anymore. You know what I mean? And that's part of the beauty of life, is in the imperfections, right? Like, you can't appreciate a beautiful blooming magnolia tree without seeing a dead one. You know what I mean? You can't appreciate
rain without sunshine without rain.
Exactly, right? And that's the thing in life. Like, even like Kendrick said, like, show me an ass pick with some stretch marks, or however he worded it. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like show me some real in there. It makes it more beautiful. Like, no disrespect to all the IG models and stuff. You're doing your thing. You're looking phenomenal on there. I've definitely jerked off to some of you in my time. You know what I mean?
Bro, what if your wife watches this shit? Like, what?
I'm just being honest. You know what I
mean? Like,
Instagram's been around longer than we've been together. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, this is just a personal opinion of
For
honesty
sure.
here, but nothing quite matches when you see a girl walk by who's got natural breasts, who's got naturally built, and her face might not even be all that like some of the other girls, but the way, like, there's just something to the reality of it. Like, maybe there's a little bit of extra plumpness on the hip where it's just kind of, you know what I mean? Or a little, you know what I mean?
I got you.
Maybe the titties are a little lopsided, but they're not sitting there like two fucking basketballs just freaking firm on the chest. You know what I mean? But
Amen.
In the imperfection, you find beauty, right? And I think art is very much like that as well, too. Like, true, beautiful art. And it's like anything that you apply art to, you know what I mean? Like, I would much prefer, you know, there's something to say about, like, a MLNY carved dinner table opposed to a fucking IKEA one, you know what I mean? And put the wood aside, you know, the quality of the product aside, just the visual aesthetic of it, you know what I mean? Like, there's something more beautiful always in something that's imperfect, you know what I mean?
Amen. Actually, beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it. There's always something more beautiful and something imperfect.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, but either way, that being said, I want you to tell me about how beautifully imperfect this upcoming EP that you're working on is, or EP or album or whatever you're gonna go with.
So I haven't officially announced it yet. I originally planned it for an album, but honestly, it's just becoming this huge project that I think, like, in a good way, that I think I might turn into like a 2-disc mixtape in a sense, or a disc and a deluxe version plus a bonus. It's on the actual title of it, like, for EP, album, or mixtape. I'm not dead set on. You can definitely expect at least something with more than 16 tracks coming your way, a project with maybe up to even 28. Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be something that's going to be very, very different from an artist on my level, and I'm hoping I'm just going to take things on a whole different level, in a sense, from somebody who's just put out singles to my very first CD. I can really a real product. You know what I mean? I want to say, I know I hate to say it, because, you know, a lot of artists don't want to say, like, music is a business, but when it comes down to it, music is business, and, like, there's people that might say sell out, but no. Like, when it comes down to it, music is business, and that's how it is. But this project is just going to be huge. Let me get into it. Like, the whole thesis on the project is really, so the title of the project is called Colonization.
Okay.
And really what I want to do, respect.
It's a strong title.
Oh, yes it is very strong. And that's the point. It's meant to grab attention. Bless Execute, I see that. Thank you Execute, bro. Just boy subbing up too. Josh is subscribed to my Twitch too. I'll teach you all about the subscribes, don't worry, we'll get into that too. But it's titled Colonization, and I'm really excited for me to even release the draft piece for the cover art we have for it. It's really this project that I just keep talking around it. Like, I'm really excited about it. The whole thesis of it, though, is essentially each track, just like essentially the music I've been putting out the last few years, is really going to be a different genre, or my take on a different genre. I don't really want to make it sound like that. It's all going to be my sound, but it's all going to be in different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my absolute best just to make sure everyone's a banger. Obviously, every artist is when they work on a project. The whole thesis of the project is essentially for me to put this out as an artist and show my complete diversity, but to be able to really create this new kind of music. And that's really what I'm on a mission to do. Is I've found my sound, but I feel like I can create something that's a lot, I don't want to say better, but it's just something new and unheard. And that's really what my mission is now, and that's really what my mission with that project is Colonization, is to, after it, say, you know, I've ran through everything I can and essentially have a final sound. You know how every song can get better, but have a final sound, and as well to have this full project that just no artist can really, and essentially say, not even a competition way, but can really look at a project that other artists in the next generations can look at and be like, you know, he did something new. I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to just put out a track of one genre or one. I want to show my diversity, but as well I want to show that there's a lot more than just one thing to every artist. You know what I mean? And every artist doesn't have to be on one thing. Like, I'm trying to relate. So, for example, say Post Malone, when he came up, you know, he came up with White Iverson, and people like started labeling us a rapper. I don't know if I didn't ever call Post Malone a rapper. I never did. You know, he's got some bars that are sick, but he was, you know, his own artist. He did his own kind of music, kind of like a weird mix. Not a weird mix. Sorry, not hating. But and then after, you know, White Iverson, he started coming up with these new songs, and then there's, you know, I don't even know anyone right off the top of my head, but Sunflower from the Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that fucking song.
But forget, you know what I mean? He, as soon as he started really getting a lot of attention, you know, he really diversified his sound and really brought in other lightning doesn't strike in the same place. Oh yeah, amen, Josh. Lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. So I'm just looking at the chat too, but like he really diversified his sound and brought other listeners in. You know what I mean? That's really what I want to do with the project. Is a lot of people know me as a hip hop artist, and they know, you know, I can spit. I got some bars here and there, but I really want to make music that's timeless. You know what I mean? That's something that even if I don't, you know, I don't care, but I really don't, you know. Obviously, every artist wants to get it out to the world, and hopefully everyone listens to it. But you know, even if just 10 of my friends buy my CD and can sit there and really listen to it, and it really not only help them, but really get them through things, or you know, help them vibe up for, say, workout, or say move, go to the club and get their groove on, or you know what I mean. Say I make an R. Kelly, not R. Kelly. Say I make an Usher track to fuck to, you know what I mean? Yeah, why'd I go to R. Kelly, right? But you know what I mean? That kind of shit.
That's not front though, man. R. Kelly got some records.
Bro, no one can tell me if you put on I'm a Flirt that they're not singing along. Like everyone, they keep.
You know,
No.
I'll go with Ignition remix. It's the remix.
That's true. He has some bangers.
Rolling, that body got everybody in there wishing. Bro.
Yeah, bro, that shit would fuck up the club, bro. I remember that shit fucked up the club. I was young, I couldn't even dance. I'm a hot versatile. That shit would just fuck up the club.
Bro, up until he made Surviving R. Kelly, Ignition still fucked up the club. Ain't nobody give a shit that he pissed on that girl until they made a documentary about it, and they're like, alright, well, we gotta cancel this guy now because he's really nasty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the world is ready to overlook the 14-year-old, though. They're like, you know, Ignition's fly.
That sounds so bad. That's so bad.
I wish. You know what I mean?
Shut up now, bro.
I wish. You can't tell me this. Nah, you can't tell me nothing about this man.
I'm not. You know what it switched to? You know what it switched to? So people went from rocking to R. Kelly in the club to like it being like, you know what I mean, when they were like 15-year-old boys listening to Britney Spears when they were like young, like, you know, now they just have it hidden in their iPod, like it still plays and they'll bang out. And then, you know what I mean, when someone like they'll start singing, then they see someone like, and they'll be like, oh, confessions, confession, like start singing like you're Usher or some shit. Then walk by, like back to shit, like.
You know what though? I think at the end of the day, like, and see, and that's the problem with cancel culture and where we're at currently in our social climate is that people are scared to be themselves. And I mean, people always have been, but like now more so than ever. And like, you know, if someone wants to cancel me because I tell them I still won't spend money by R. Kelly, or that like I'm still throwing the Fiesta remix, like, bro, how could I not listen to After the Show with the After Party and After the Party at the hotel lobby and...
Like, I don't agree with what he did. Don't get me wrong, I do not agree with what he did. Like, you can't disagree with that though. The record still slaps. Michael Jackson hung his baby out the window, but you can't still tell me you ain't selling Billie Jean. It's not my
Michael
love.
Jackson is my favorite artist of all time, bro. Hands down, favorite artist. Michael Jackson is God to me, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't like shut the fuck up with anything else. Like, and and see, the problem with cancel culture is that it's the court of public opinion. But what if the public opinion is wrong?
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's
like R. Kelly's fucked up. Like, you know, there's enough
Amen.
evidence out there that R. Kelly's fucked up.
There's no denying that.
The point being is, like, yeah, am I gonna listen to, like, what's that song where he compares the girl to his car? Or what's the song, like there's nasty R. Kelly songs where you're like, oh shit. Like, I hear it now. Like, he's talking about fucking a 14-year-old girl. Like, that shit's nasty. But I believe I can fly. Like, that can still inspire me, bro. You know?
Yeah. Well, like, you know what I mean? Then it gets down to whole, like, when you're watching Space Jam as a kid, you're sitting there, and, like, you just have flashbacks, and you're just like, I could fly, man. I could really fly.
I'm telling you, man. Yo, it's like R. Kelly says. I mean, sorry, it's like Dave Chappelle.
Like, what?
He rapes, but he saves. You know what I mean? R. Kelly might have done some nasty shit, but he sparked some intelligence and some inspiration in people who have done great things in this world. So, that's a tip for that, you know? Like, fuck, man, look at it. Like,
It sucks, but it's true. Yeah, it sucks, but it's true.
Is it Woody Allen or whatever, one of those fucking weirdo actor guys is like married to his 13-year-old cousin, and like, you know, there's all types of nasty people in Hollywood, bro. You know, like, it may not Woody Allen. Who is it? I don't know, man.
I was like, I don't know.
That's the thing, though, man. Like, a lot of people do a lot of nasty shit, and like, what can you fucking do about it? Like, but like, you know. I don't know. You know,
wherever you go with this, like the record still slaps. The record still slaps.
So much of a proportion, so I'm gonna quit talking about it. But the point I was making is, just don't be afraid to be you, man. Like, if you still like an R. Kelly song, I don't think you should be scared to let people know you still like an R. Kelly song. It's cool. You know, because everybody else has that guilty pleasure too. They just pretend not to. Everyone wants to pretend to be a social justice warrior. Then in the comfort of their own home, they fucking say the N-word, or they fucking pump some R. Kelly, or they fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Or the fucking dude you know who acts like the most biggest gay basher is secretly gay, or whatever it may be. Everybody's got skeletons. Everyone's pretending to be someone they're not. And just be fucking you, man. Because at the end of the day, if we're all ourselves and we can stop hiding from ourselves, and we can really focus on bringing some real change to this world. But as long as we're too worried walking on eggshells to be yourselves around people, man, you know, nobody's gonna get fucking nowhere, man. It's just a big fucking circle jerk of nonsense, this whole fucking world. You know what I mean?
That just went from like the funniest conversation with R. Kelly to like some like crazy like references and everything to like some really raw like real shit to like talking about circle jerks real quick, but like then to like really going back to it's like the center of the topic, not the circle jerk, but the center of the topic of the real shit. Just so you know, like I was like, just so we had like a mind map of what just happened there.
You know what? I think sometimes it's important to use really outlandish or funny or slightly borderline
just fucking nonsense
examples.
I love it. I do it all the time. I love it.
Just draw the point home. You know what I mean? But
like you just compare like a crayon to like freaking you compare a crayon to a Smurf dick. I don't know. Like there's the most outlandish shit. Like you don't like I don't know.
You know, sometimes, you know, I think that's one thing that makes, you know, this is just off topic now. We're just talking at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have any more questions?
That's one thing that makes Dave Chappelle so great, though, man. He can drive a point home by making you laugh and like saying the most fucked up shit, and then he'll come full circle and like hits the hammer on the nail, and you're like, holy shit, bro, you just re-examined your whole life after hearing him talking about Bill Cosby raping you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like sometimes, you know, the flamboyancy of the way you say what you say and the examples you use sometimes can really make the difference of driving a point home or your shit going in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Or you can just sound like a fucking idiot and just, you know.
No, bro, I sound like an idiot all the time, but no, like, I can't tell you how many times I'll be sitting there just trying to have a conversation with someone, and I'll think about, like, referencing something, and I'll just, out of nowhere, like, I don't even have the thought in the mind, I'll just reference the most crazy, like, out-of-the-world thing that I can think of that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, And like every time people like they just can't help but laugh, and like sometimes it just makes their day, especially when someone's having like a really shitty day. If you just like, you know what I mean, just have this like random conversation, you just pop out this random thing that just has nothing to do. A lot of times like it just puts a smile on the face and you're good to go.
Yeah. Real talk, man. But you know, before we do wrap it up too, like I mean, you told us a little bit about the EP and stuff, but I also did want to ask as well too, with the, you know, vaccinations happening in the world. You know, you mentioned you guys had a date that you're starting to take reservations for and stuff. So do you guys have anything planned for you know, the reopening of the world, or are you guys kind of just playing it by ear? So?
The world. You're gonna have me quote Dana White here, bro. I have no idea about the world. All I know about is what Lux is doing, okay? What I can say is as of right now, the government has announced that like patios are open June 14th, or will be allowed to. Ontario is already over the 60%, so I'm pretty sure I'm almost absolutely sure like we'll be doing that as well on June 14th. There's rumors, I don't know if it went out today, I saw a couple announcements, but there was rumors that Doug Ford might even allow us to do it earlier. If he does let patios open earlier, I am not even going to worry about rushing to figure out whatever, like last time, and like how he had everyone rush to figure everything out for 2 weeks and shut us back down. I'm going to stick with our June 18th plan, and that's what we're sticking with. As far in Niagara, I don't know if they did it in Brantford or Toronto. In Niagara, though, they placed a 9 o'clock last call curfew for bars. So
I don't like that.
It was stupid, but it kind of helps us in a way because our patio's new and everything. It kind of benefits us in a sense, but you know what I mean. At the same time, it's a nightclub patio we can't dance on, so we're taking it day by day. For anything that's being planned, we had a concert planned for July 17th. With Robbie G, myself, Swish Styles, a couple other people too as well. Robbie was trying to do the Canadian tour, but with everything going on in Ontario, looking like it was just too scattered. Like there was, you know what I mean. I think there was a couple locations he was able to still go to, but there was more than half of the places he was not able to go to because of restrictions. So, you know, I mean, it's best just to hold the tour off till I think he said he's putting it off till September. We're still waiting on announcements and everything. That's not for sure. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. But like I'm dead ass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But I do know it's been put off because of, you know, he only had a couple spots to go to, so it really makes no sense. As soon as Lux is allowed to have live shows, I will be doing a concert ASAP in Niagara, just to kind of show that, like, yo, we're here and we need to do it. Like, I cannot wait to do a concert on the patio. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It'll be the best outdoor concert venue in Niagara, I'm telling you. It's just a whole different level. A whole different level. Yeah, I had to plug in June 18th. Like I said, we're getting reservations in already. It's a blessing. I hope the momentum keeps going, and you know what I mean. I hope we fill our weekend. I hope we fill our weekend for June 18th and 19th, and then just keep filling and going until hopefully we're able to reopen fully, inside and out. You know, that's really the plan for Lux. Like, for the CD, I'm still waiting to announce a day. I really have to get in the studio to finish up the last few tracks. I have a couple recorded, and I gotta get everything in and finished before I really want to release an actual fully release date. I just like to have things finished and then get them done. But I can tell you it's on the way, guys. There's a lot of new heat coming, a lot of different stuff. One thing I am allowed to speak on is a feature with Robbie G coming out. I'm probably gonna, as for people who are in their marketing, that track has probably been all like, just so people have a background on marketing too. Like, as an artist, you probably as well too. You finish a track and you put like your own kind of plans for it and stuff behind them, what you want to do. Do you think? But so like the track's recorded and everything. Maybe we're mixing and tweaking it. I'm probably not gonna release it for maybe 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So like I'm probably not even gonna like this is the first I've really talked about it. Like I talked about it on a stream before, but like that's how much time and stuff goes into essentially, in my opinion, a proper planning for a release track. You know, like something at that magnitude. Robbie G to me is someone above my level magnitude wise. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to fully plan as much marketing and as much campaign and also tie it in. Mainly, the reason why it's taken so long too is tie it in with the concert with Robbie being down here too.
Yeah.
It's almost dumb for me not to. You know what I mean?
Well, and see, like, even you saying that, like, to me, 8 weeks is nothing, bro. I got songs that, bro, when Midas Touch came out at the top of 2020, that song was almost 5 years old.
Like that. So yeah, who am I talking to? This guy's like the content. This guy's got, you got like months and months of stuff on planned already. Like man, I'm like a novice to you.
No, but it doesn't always happen purposely either. But I just think that, you know, like, I get what you're saying, though, like 100%. Like, I think, you know, like, you know, once you get a ball rolling, you start doing shit. Yeah, like, you know, I think Robbie very much would be saying that way too. Like, most times it doesn't take you 5 years to release a song. That song just happened to not. It happened to age gracefully, where I could still use it. But like even still, like, you know, I got songs that I recorded 2.5 years ago that are planned to do videos for the summer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, everything's about timing too, right? So, you know, that's the other big thing. Like, you don't just make something slam it out. Some people do, but I've never really understood that artist plan. You know?
Like I feel like it's a curse. I feel like it's a curse up like artists who are trying to make a name for themselves, like almost like this curse they just get in their head where it's like record, release, repeat, and it's not like a bad thing because, you know what I mean, there's artists who have done that and come up on SoundCloud like and do it, but you know what I mean, it's like there's, I don't want to say there's proper ways, but you know what I mean, there's beneficial ways depending on what your goal is.
Well, it depends
you know what
on
I'm
how much you believe too. I think people who rush to release art don't necessarily maybe value it as highly as maybe other people sometimes that, you know, spend a lot of time on it. Because I think good art doesn't age. You know what I mean? Like, when you're trying to chase a sound, or you're trying to, you know, replicate or duplicate something, then there's a time limit on it. But when you're just creating good pieces of art, there's not really a time restriction. And one thing, you know, I think that a lot of people maybe lose sight of sometimes too is that, you know, it's about growing. You know, like, and I don't mean that in the sense of inner self, but I mean, like, people like to join on a journey, right? So it's like an example I can use, like, so when COVID hit, right, it fucked up all our plans that we had set up. We had to basically go back to the drawing board and we were back because I couldn't get in the studio. We couldn't get videographers. So what I did is I went back into the vault, found an album. I found a bunch of material me and Special K had recorded 5 years prior when we lived in Toronto still, and I first moved up here. And nothing really ever happened with shit. And so I hit him up. I'm like, yo, how do you feel about me like repurposing this project that we were originally going to do, us and Lefty? But Lefty decided a few years prior, like, I don't want my name attached to the music. I'm at a new place as an artist, right? I've progressed. And that's kind of the mind state I'm talking to here. It's important sometimes not to jump the gun and allow people into the process of what's happening now so much, because it could overjump a lot of things that you've done that maybe you've never really catered to properly. And a great example would be the biggest blessing that could have happened to me as an artist was COVID, because it allowed me to go back, repurpose this project, especially put it out. And that's not a good representation of who I am as an artist now, but from the people's standpoint, what they had heard to me prior to that, it was on par with what they had heard prior. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't slamming out a bunch of new music. I was kind of just in the period where I was building a catalog. So from there forward, I was able to actually show growth. Like, if you go back to that album and you watch all the things I've released over this past year, you'd be like, yo, he's growing as an artist. Little did you know, when that album of Special K came out, half the shit you're hearing now was already written, recorded. I've already been this new artist. You know what I mean? But it gives a growing process for the people to follow along with, and it helps kind of build a journey and an excitement. You know what I mean? That's where if COVID never hit and I wouldn't slammed out fucking my anxiety video, which is coming out maybe 3 months, and would have put it out at the top end of 2020, where would I be now? I'd be sitting here scrambling, twiddling my, reaching for sticks, trying to do something to show continuous growth, when in reality, it's not realistic. You know what I mean? But I think, and that's a big thing that goes into what you were saying about planning. And like 8 weeks is even a great plan for a single. I know people who do a single and want it out the next week. You know what I mean? And to me, it's just like, I've always found that backwards thinking. It's like, so, like, you're not preparing for the future when you think like that. You know what I mean? Because so once you get this out, then what's game plan? What's next? You know what I mean? Like, if you just, because you're supposed to always be getting better, and you're always going to be testing new waters and trying new things. And if you want to expose people to what you just did, then what do you have ready for after they're sick of that? You know what I mean?
Because people, consumers, never stop. They never stop. They see one thing, and you could have spent like, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what I'm saying. Like consumers, entertainers always tell you just always make them want more, because they will always want more. You know what I mean? They will never. They will, as you put out a full new album, they're done with it in 2 days. They want something new right after.
The most important thing, you can't backtrack. Once you put out something of a certain quality, people expect that of you, and if you go back, then you fell off. You know what I mean? So that's the important thing I think a lot of people won't realize. Like, that's why it's somewhat, I would rather repurpose content from 5 years ago and continue building growth on this end and release it when I can strategically release it, than to just like pump out like the song I wrote last week and throw it out to you right now. You know what I mean? And then I pretty much have to erase years of catalog and different ideas and thoughts and plans, because now you're exposed to this. And to go backwards, but now it would make, you know what I mean? Like, it makes it look like you're backtracking, degressing, and then people lose interest. So it's all about continuous growth, but, like, it's a very fine line, but I just people who rush things, I almost can't even work with people who rush anymore, because, like when someone hits me up for a collab, and they're in my inbox 5 days later, like, yo, how's that verse coming? It's like, do you just want me to slap rhymes together, or do you want, like, did you hit me up because you want the quality I provide, or did you hit me up because you want my name on the song?
Yeah,
you know what
that's what I was about to say. It's like, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, it's like, do they want your quality, or do they want just your name?
Exactly, because you can't rush greatness. You know what I mean? And that's the thing at the end of the day. Like, when I hit up artists who are bigger than me for features or collabs, I'll wait 3 months before I remind them, like, hey, how's that verse come? You know what I mean? Because, like, I understand. Greatness, Rome's not built in a fucking day, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and if you want that, like, if you want to live in an IKEA society, a microwave society, a fast food society, that's fine. But, you come to the wrong guy if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's running a hamster wheel. You know what I mean? That's where you're gonna burn yourself out quick. And where do you go from here? That's how you become a one-hit wonder, opposed to somebody with a longevity and a catalog that can make you money and royalties the rest of your career, and a loyal fan base. And like, I'm always thinking about where I'm gonna be at when I'm 40. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that's a lot.
Legit. Say like 30, 35 for me. Yeah.
Short-sightedness to get you nowhere, though. It'll get you somewhere quick, and then you'll fumble. Like, it's always important, I think, to think about the long, the long run, what's the end game here? You know what I mean? And
where do you see yourself in 10 to 20 years?
Yeah, but you can find success either way, right? So I guess it's all what's right for you, right? But I just, anyways, the full circle, it's like, what you're saying is absolutely right. And I don't understand people who don't think about planning. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no plan involved, then what are you doing? Is this just a hobby, or is this something you take professionally? You know what I mean? Because without a plan and without an idea of where to go, and without, you're not. What are you setting up? You're setting yourself up for failure.
There's no direction. There's just you.
You're putting in work to hit a brick wall. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather, and and I'm not saying I'm fucking any huge artist, or I'm anyone that even people should take advice from. But what I can tell you is that I spent 10 years running the hamster wheel.
What you can say though is you are a respected hard worker though. You know what I mean? An established person who's put in work and should be is recognized for that. So you could speak from that.
But the one thing I can speak from is where I failed. You know what I mean? And one place where I failed was running a hamster wheel, and not having an X plan and just putting things out and just letting life guide me and be like, just throw it all to the wind and it'll land me somewhere. Yeah, it'll land back in the same fucking spot every time. You jump off the same cliff and fucking hit your head. You know what I mean? You gotta think about how you're gonna catch that air and actually land somewhere different. You don't.
If I may, how you gonna believe you can fly? Bro, I think we're gonna cut it off though. Do you have any more questions? Do you have any more questions at all? Like, do you wanted to highlight or touch on?
I think we covered all the shit that I really wanted to cover.
I was gonna say, I know you got daddy duty in the morning. I don't want to keep you up too early, and you still gotta go do work too.
Yeah, no, I gotta go edit videos and shit because I'll be doing the rest of the night. I'm gonna smoke a fat bowl, maybe listen to some R. Kelly. You know what I mean?
Remix to Ignition. Oh man.
As we're cool. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we got on deck? Oh yeah, we do. Oh yeah. You're gonna set the tone for a proper exit. You know what I mean?
Do your thing. Do your thing.
You gotta set the tone for the proper exit. Hey!
That's sick.
Shameless plug.
Shameless.
If it was my platform, I wouldn't do this, but we're on your platform. UNCP, the project we just talked about with Fetch K. Hey!
Plug it, bro. Plug it. Do your thing. Do your thing. That's sick. That's sick.
Salute to Fetch K, man. You know what? He's got some new music coming out too, so that's dope. Join CP. You can check it out on all streaming platforms. You can go on the Breaking Records website, cop the hard copies. There's still some left, exclusive 200 friends that are out after that. You can still get them. They're all signed by me and Spesh. So, do that. You just, you gotta get the shameless plug.
No, bro, it's not shameless. Do your thing. It's why you're on the channel, B. That's why you're on the channel. Let people plug in. So just as we're closing out, letting people know, usually I have people in and I interview them now. MLNY has done the blessing to come on to do the interview of me, so you guys have sort of a background of me. Very much informative too. I didn't expect him to start really going into how I grew up and really where I got to Brantford. But you know what I mean? Make sure you check out his stuff. Soon you'll see him on Twitch, and we're going to bring him back on the channel, do a plug-in as well. Make sure you check out all that stuff. I just added his music as well. I don't know if you heard it to the playlist. That's where I was playing it off of. I just added your music to the streaming playlist. So all of our streamers that got that playlist will be streaming that as well. Those songs you put on, or you requested I put on. If you guys already follow that playlist, go check it out. You can get a little taste of what he's got. And then as well, you got that new project coming out with that shameless little plug, but it's all love. No. Next time I'm going to do one big old shameless plug. I'm bugging. But no, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting late. I do got to cut off. If you guys have any questions or anything for me for next time for Kelly, send him in a whisper or a message. Make sure you go follow all this man on his platform, Facebook, Insta, everything. And soon, I promise you'll see him on Twitch. I'm going to teach him all about it.
I can't wait to hop on there. And as we close this out, we're going to drop this.
I'm gonna let this play out. I'm gonna take a bong toke and let this play out. No worries. We'll be back on soon.
I appreciate you allowing me to come and take over your platform from my own platform. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I'm gonna be on yours to take over soon anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying, bro. But much blessings to you, my man. Keep up the good work, the hard work, and I'm looking forward to coming out there and working some shit with you and Weldon as well, too.
Absolutely.
You keep cooking up dope music, my G.
You as well, bro. Give the best to the family and stay safe, B.
You as well, my G. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
That I grow when it goes in the middle when I get them in the show. You know, yeah. I ain't coming down. No, no. I ain't coming down. No, no. I ain't coming down. No, no. High up in the sky. I said I'm high up in the sky. Way up. You ask me, I don't know why. Why you asking? I go to sleep night, bye. Sleeping on me, yeah. And that is no lie. You got no alibi. If you kill my vibe, then that's how it died. If I feel alive and I'm down to ride, mind opens up and yeah, now I'm high and I know, yeah, I can get out of control. Yeah, I feel the high, not the low. Yeah, if you start talking, I'm not in the mood. Don't fuck with my vibe, I ain't load. Yeah, I ain't coming down. No, no. I ain't coming down. No, no. I ain't coming down. No, no. High up in the sky. Yeah, back like. Yeah, I'm back like. Yeah. I be on my bullshit, I be on my, yeah. See me now, yeah. Yo, I'm back like wow. Yeah, I'm back like wow. Yeah, I be on my bullshit, I be on my bullshit. Yeah, I'm back like wow. Okay. Yeah, you thought it was gone, but then I'm back like wow.
MLNY. Back up in your dirty fucking bitch's ass right now, you know what I'm saying?
I told you, don't fuck with me.
Rest in peace, Lipinski. Breaking records.
Let me know.
You see me as a threat, but you don't need to sweat, cause your girl know I keep her wetter than a chia pet. I don't do this for the money, but believe I get guap. Watching hockey is the only time you see a check. Whatever team you rep gets crossed off. You hard shots took a long shot, but couldn't reach the net. In fact, you couldn't get views if you released a sex tape. Mate, you've only gone viral from disease you catch. You should reassess your whole plan, cause I flow jam so cold, man, that you can see my breath. And you don't need to stress, old man, cause I go ham. The name cold spam out of a seasoned vet. You go deleting text. If she want it, she can get it. I'm unspittable, believe me, she can be my guest. Somebody tell DJ Khaled when you see him next. He's the next runner-up, second place, we the best.
Nothing's fucking with me. I said 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 nothing's fucking with me. Nothing's fucking with me. Nothing's fucking with me.
I make these shallow rappers see the depths. Checkmate, you believe it's chess. I can beat the best, so don't cross me, cause even Jesus wept. And when your girl needs me for sex, I leave a mess. I see her on her knees undressed, then I peace once I squeeze one on your skeeter's breast, like Mia Khalifa's chest. You can't even test my 16th of death. This rap shit has got as easy as my cheating ex, especially when you see him dressed in the dress, deep throwing shotguns. I bet they'll swallow penis next. Amputees get left from east to west. It's the feast digest MCs once the beat possesses me, like DMX when he met Damien. I'm crazy and you ain't seen shit yet, cause I rip instrumentals into pieces. Yes, R.I.P. cause after me in peace they rest.
Nothing's fucking with me. I said 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 nothing's fucking with me. Nothing's fucking with me. Nothing's fucking with me.
I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you.
Don't fuck with me.
Switch styles.
Yes,
go.
1 million. 2 million. 3 million.
I'm stacking to the ceiling.
1 million. 2 million. 3 million.
I'm stacking to the ceiling. Fuck every single person that ever hated on me. That ain't a disturbance in the force. This bitch just serving my peace. Trying to get this money. Can't afford to sleep. Got bills to pay. Got mouths to feed. Yeah, I've been through hell and back. Beat every demon in my path. Seen the devil at my door and told his ass to go and back. Sold him his prescription, told him take 2 hits of this and then come back for that. But that was like 6 days ago. At least I made 30 racks. Yeah, fuck 'em, at least I made 30
1
racks.
million. 2 million. 3 million.
I'm stacking to the ceiling.
1 million. 2 million. 3 million.
I'm stacking to the ceiling. I just wanna walk up in this bitch like fuck you, pay me, fool. In my mind I choke you with the force so I don't lose my cool. All this pressure building, think I'm about to blow. Can't compress these feelings, shit, but I compress and blow. See, I grew up wielding tons of weed and coke. Then I left the game for some change, just to save my soul. Took my money to the bank, told that bitch to make it grow. Now I'm stacking to the ceiling, think I need a bigger home. Let's go.